back to Cross Stitch the Globe. This is our 2023 end of year WIP Parade. Yay! My name's Stephanie.
Allison.
And we are two sisters who both cross stitch. Now, Allison's been cross stitching for years and years, and I started this year, though the number of projects that I have to show might not indicate that. Just quickly about ourselves, if you're new here, I started cross stitching because I'm a professional travel writer and photographer, and I started cross stitching as a way to convert my travel photos into cross stitch patterns, and then fell in love with like the whole world of cross stitch. So most of my projects, the vast majority, are not my own photos, but I do have a few of my own photo projects to show, and Allison has one of those as well.
Yeah.
And then Allison, you want to talk about your cross stitch journey?
Okay, I've been cross stitching for about 6 years now. I started out monogamous stitcher, full coverage only, and only things that I charted myself. So from pictures that other people taken, like I've done one of her son, or my own photographs. So,
and then also basically we fell down a Flosstube rabbit hole this summer, and then they're like, oh, we want to stitch everything.
Well, I didn't know about Flosstube until she was like, I want to cross stitch, and then I was like, what's Flosstube? And so now here we are.
And we're loving it. We've met so many cool people. We've met so many, we've made people that we already consider friends. Yeah. We're doing stitch-alongs. We're starting stitch-alongs. We're
in it.
So yeah, so we're really excited to show the end of the year, our projects that we've worked on. I put out a video for plans, and in the plans video, I'd mentioned WIP Go pieces. When I show a piece that's on my WIP Go board, I will point it out for people that didn't see that video. You're not going to do WIP Go.
I'm not doing a WIP Go board. I don't have that many WIPs, and I plan on finishing them all relatively quickly.
Yeah.
So.
She's definitely not a monogamous stitcher.
I'm not.
But she's not a stitch all the things stitcher really yet either.
I don't know what I am yet.
You're kind of in the middle.
I'm feeling it out because I have some leftover Halloween WIPs. I have some Christmas WIPs that I plan on doing all year.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stretch those out. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
So we're very excited. If you are new here and you want to see how these WIPs progress throughout the year, subscribe to our channel so that our videos show up in your feed. And if you could leave a comment and let us know if you're working on any of the stuff we're working on and you want to work on it with us or make it a focus piece at a certain time, let us know. That'd be super excited. If you finished any of them, let us know. We can go check out your Instagram finishes or your video finishes because that's always inspirational. So, and if you've been here for a while, thank you so much. We really can't believe how much fun this has been. And
it's so much fun. We were just sitting here going, okay, we're going to talk about cross stitch for another, couple hours. So just an extension of what we've been doing all morning. Yeah. And it's wonderful.
And it's so exciting. I was this morning I had to get up early, but it was you know what? It wasn't, normally it's a drag, but I was no, it was Christmas morning. I get to go do my WIP parade.
It's cross stitch day.
So yeah, so we're excited. So, okay, we're going to start with things that we might finish in 2023. And then we will go on to things that are definitely not going to get finished this year. So, do you want to go first?
I will. And the goal is to finish it this year, but not 100% making any promises.
Oh, we will show project bags. Allison and I have very different philosophies about project bags. So whatever your project bag philosophy is, you probably will gravitate to one or the other of our bags. We will talk about the fabric, but if we forget to mention the fabric or anything about a pattern that you want to know about it, ask us in the description. I will list all the patterns. Normally I just list them in order mentioned, but today I will list Allison's WIPs under her name in order mentioned and my WIPs under my name in order mentioned to help you find things. And I will at the end mention any Etsy store that we talk about or any I have bags from different random places. Well, anything like that will be in the description. And then if there's something missing you want to know, let us know. And hashtags or stitch-alongs or any information like that will also be listed by the pattern name. All right.
Yay. Okay. So the one that I'm working on right now that I hope to be done by the end of this year is the Yule Goddess by Tiny Modernist. And this is the bag I stitched for it. This was my Merry Christmas stitch that I finished. And this is from the Yule Goddess.
So for Allison's project bag, she buys canvas bags at a big box store and then stitches individual motifs from the patterns that live in them. So all of her bags are unique.
The tree from her dress.
And that's the pattern, and it's just amazing.
Okay. So I'm I'm obsessed with this one.
Which way does it go?
I
can't tell.
don't know which way does it go. I haven't stitched enough.
Oh my god, it's
So
amazing.
This is the Yule goddess.
Do you know approximately how much you have left?
I have no idea. So I have her skirt. I have one more bunny. I finished the little bunny on that side. Now I gotta do a bunny on this side. And then there's a heart in the middle and 2 more branches. And then it's just fill-in. It's a lot of fill-in on her dress. So I've done all the motifs on the dress, or I'm doing all the motifs on the dress, and then I'm just gonna fill in red.
And we're filming on December 26th, so you have time to do that. Because we both have New Year's Eve starts. No, you have a New Year's Day. You have New Year's Day.
New Year's Day start.
I have a New Year's Eve start plan, but other than that, the ones that we're possibly going to finish this year will be mostly stitched. Are the only things we're really stitching until the end of the year.
Well, this is the only thing I'm going to stitch.
Until it's done.
I'm doing one today. Today is my 9th anniversary, my 9th wedding
Aww.
anniversary. So I'm doing an anniversary stitch that I'll show you later. But other than that one, this is the one I'm going to work on.
And what's the fabric?
This is Jalapeno by Fiber on Whim. It's 16 count 8. And it's really
pretty.
close to the called for. But it is not the
so.
called for. But I absolutely love this color.
It's slightly brighter than what this looks like, but I wouldn't. That could just be like a photograph thing. We don't know, like at that level.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Yay! I'm so happy. Like I could stare at it all day.
It will be amazing. Are you gonna leave it up all year when it's done?
No, it'll be a Christmas piece.
It'll be special when you get it out.
Yeah.
All right. So the first of mine that might get done this year is my 2023 Prairie Schooler Santa. We'll show paper patterns where we have them. Most of our projects are not paper patterns, but where we have them, we'll show them. So that's the 2023 Santa. You've definitely probably seen him before, and this is where I am.
I love him.
So I stitched him most of the day yesterday. I was like, he didn't have legs yesterday, and then on Christmas Day when we were at my parents', it was such an easy thing to stitch and chat and like just fill in those legs and boots. So I only have 300 stitches left. All I have left is the lantern that goes right here. I don't remember.
No,
it's here.
Yeah.
And then more snowflakes. And then I got to back stitch the words that go up here somewhere. So yeah, I'm really close. He will definitely get finished. I could have finished him last night, except I had to organize for today. And then I also decided to do 2 last minute Christmas starts that I'll show you guys. But he's so close. He will definitely be a 2023 finish. And I love him. I don't have any plans on how I'm going to finish him yet. This is 28 count Dusty Cottage by Bestitch Me using the called for DMC.
His face is so expressive.
I love his little Rudy cheeks.
His cheeks are so perfect.
Oh my gosh. This is my first Prairie Schooler Santa, and I'm obsessed with them, and I will be stitching all of them.
I'm going to stitch all of them?
No, I mean, I don't know, but like I'm going to be stitching a lot of them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them.
Make it a tradition every Christmas do that year's Santa.
Well, I bought a haul off Facebook Marketplace of a woman who was destashing a lot of her like older patterns, and she had tons of Prairie Schooler Santas, so I bought a bunch of Prairie Schoolers. So I have like most of the 80s and a lot of the 90s ones, and then I'm going to be getting the 2022 and 2021 this week. I'm going to order them this week for projects that are coming up. So that's my Prairie Schooler Santa.
Very cute.
All right, so I have more projects that might be finished this year. Oh, because they are smalls, and you're doing one big one.
I have one big skirt to do.
It lives in a bag that I will show you guys later because there's another project currently living in it. So I need to. Will you put this aside so it doesn't get lost?
Put them all over here.
Normally I'll tuck it back into their bag, but that bag is in a precarious pile of things where I didn't have Allison. Allison ironed all our projects. She irons all our projects. There's a few projects I didn't have her iron because they just didn't have enough that they needed it, or this one has like markings all over it, so it can't be ironed. So okay. So my next one that might be finished this year is my series. So I'm working on Alforce Embroidery's series of winter birds. It's 8 ornaments. I finished already. You guys, if you watch the channel, you've already seen me finish Robin and Blue Jay, and I decided to go ahead, so this is what the last robin finish looks like. I decided to go ahead and start nuthatch. On my last time I talked about these, I didn't know if I was going to start another one this year. And then I was watching Helen D. So Helen D has a finishing video where she finishes these ornaments into tart pans. And I had already bought the ornaments before I knew that video existed, but she finished the last of the 8 on her last Flosstube. And that inspired me to keep going because, like, I do want all 8 done.
Yeah.
And if I get 1 more done this year, that means 3 will be done this year. That means I'll go into next year with only 5 left. And they're the only, I like to stitch Al Forest on Fridays, and the hashtag Al Forest Fridays, which was started by Stitchy Sarah Reeds on Instagram, and she's Sarah Stitchery on YouTube.
Flosstube, yeah.
On Flosstube, and Allie Z from Allie Z is Crafty. They do Al Forest Fridays, or host it. And I do like to stitch 200 stitches on an Al Forest project every Friday because I have a lot of Al Forest projects. This is the only one I have on Ada. So, and there's a lot of Fridays where I go over to Mom and Dad's. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to keep this packet out all year and just keep going on them. And then maybe by next December they'll be done.
Yeah.
And I can finish them all together.
Yeah.
And they live in this Teresa Kogut snowman bag.
So cute.
And I love to stitch with vintage hoops. If you're new here, I will show where I use a vintage hoop that's in a kit. That's like attached to a kit. I'll show you. So I use this Princess. I think it's a 6-inch. It's really pretty. So yeah, it's funny until it has all the decorations around it. It's very simple, but it is the full bird.
Well, and it is one of, like, are you sure it goes that way?
Yeah, because it's like,
okay.
It's like, but yeah, it is funny. But I just wanted to get it started so that I could keep going on it.
Yeah.
Because my other Al Forest pieces that I'm working on, I have a 36 count, a 40 count, and a 28 count, and this is the only one I have on Ada. It's one of my only Ada projects at all that's not full coverage, so it will be nice to have that around. All right, then this is a Jingle Ball purchase. I think it was a Jingle Ball exclusive.
I think it wasn't exclusive.
It might have been just a new release. So this is Humbug by Hello from Liz Mathews. And I did buy the PDF during the Jingle Ball, and I got started on it like right away. We like to stitch Liz Mathews patterns on Mondays. Sometimes we don't always have one in rotation, but where we do, we like to we have the hashtag Liz Mathews Mondays. And I try to put 200 stitches into a Liz Mathews project every Monday, and I'm working on one other one you guys will see, and I've finished a small of hers too. But I'm in her Patreon, so sometimes one of the other ones I'm working on is Patreon.
Yeah.
But this was a Jingle Ball purchase, and I just have 300 stitches left. So I just have one more thing here. So there's a leaf here, there's 2 leaves here, and then they need their back stitching, and then it will be done. Yay. And it will be so cute next year.
Oh, so cute. Are you gonna?
Oh, I have a million tiny. I have 82 stitches of little gray stars to put into. Oh. That will be the last thing I do. But I'm probably it's really the kind where the middle isn't stitched, and I don't love doing that because I don't feel like when I do that mine are very secure. But I tried doing them with the middle stitched, and I don't think it looks good. So I'm going to pull these 2 out that I did as tests and put them back in.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Because they look more, they're not snowflakes, but they have more of a snowflake appeal in the pattern, whereas when they're stitched in, they don't look as good.
Yes.
I could also skip them, but I probably won't.
No.
Like I think they're important to the pattern, but like
the pattern is so
I just feel like I'm not very good at doing them where they're very secure, and I probably should just watch a video before I do them, because like I've done them on other patterns, but this pattern has 21 of them, 20 or 21 of them, so I should probably just like watch a video on making sure.
Yeah, because then you'll know for next time.
Because I do tend to just delete confetti, like true standalone confetti and stuff from patterns. I tend to just delete it. Yeah. Like, just like, well, we won't be doing that.
Yeah, I've done that.
But this is on, the Al Forest pieces are on 14 count, which is Garden Crafts Grimoire Ada. This is on Lakeside Linen. It's a 28 count vintage Magnolia. And I'm using the Call for DMC on both projects. And this one lives in this tiny little Winter Birds bag.
Such a cute bag.
That's perfect for this little piece. And we do have to put them away as we go. Otherwise,
there's so many.
Just catastrophe. Especially we would get our projects mixed up too. All right, I have one. Yeah, I have one last project that might get finished this year. Now the other three are definitely getting finished this year because they either have 300 or 400 stitches left. So they're all need less than 1 full day of stitching. This one is Go Tell It on the Mountain. This was a heartstring samplery exclusive for the Jingle Ball. And it was very popular, so you've probably seen other people stitching it.
Somebody I watched like this morning was talking about how they can't wait to start it. And you should start it because look at this.
It's so fun.
Look at this.
So since you guys saw it last, if you watched our last Flosstube, I had this like extra part of the house wasn't done. Since then I've added these berries and sleeve, finished the house, and then this leaf, these berries, and started this pine cone. But I have about 2,000 stitches left in it, so we have 5 days left of 2023, because New Year's Eve I have a New Year's Eve start that's going to be the only thing I stitch that day, unless I can't because of count, like if I need something smaller, but I wouldn't pick this up. So I'm hoping this is a 2023 finish. If not, it will be an early 2024 finish, because I'm not going to put it down until, I'm not going to stop until it's done.
Yeah.
But this is on 32 count tarnished silver by Lakeside Linen, and I used my own conversion. It is the called fors are overnight cottons, but I just converted it to silk from Stash, and it's a combo of the Stitch Me silk, Stitchy Box silk, Mo's silk, and there might be, I think that's it. There might be a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in there somewhere, but I'm not 100%. But I just love it. It's so pretty. It's the only thing I have going on 32 count too, which does feel tight after doing so much 28 count. And like I do a lot of I work on a lot of hand dyed fabric, and it's definitely like tighter than even a 28 count hand dyed, like the 32, but it looks so pretty. But like the red is very puffy, the red silk. The other silks are not as puffy, but the red silk is very puffy. But I think it looks really good on this.
I was going to say it's a good effect because the berries look like they're popping.
I know. But it is funny that like, because sometimes with Lakeside Linen, I will just buy what's in stock, knowing it, I will be happy to, like something will come up where it's like the perfect thing for that.
Yeah.
So I bought a bunch 32 count because that's what they had, but I don't really normally stitch on 32 count. So it's different for me. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Doing it 2/2. But I really, it's either, so this will be a finish in our next Flosstube or the Flosstube after. It's not going to be around long.
Yeah.
And that one lives in.
Does that one have words?
Yeah, so it'll say, and also
the pattern.
Any pattern, we don't have the paper one. I bought the PDF of it because I bought a lot of heartstring samplery paper patterns at the Yule Ball, but this one, either it was out, so either they didn't have a paper one of this, or it was so popular that it sold out. And I bought stuff on a Friday night of the Jingle Ball, like maybe 4 or 5 hours after it started, so it wasn't like...
It was everything. Yeah. I kind of felt like that too, like all the specific like floss packs and everything like that was gone pretty quick.
But the paper patterns for the most part weren't sold out, except this is the only one I wanted as paper that was sold out. I only bought Humbug as a PDF and not as a paper pattern because I didn't want to pay for shipping on one pattern.
Yeah.
And because I'm in Les Mathews Patreon, if I want PDFs from her, I get a discount in her Etsy shop. So I wasn't going to buy like old PDFs when I could just buy them when I'm ready for them.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of Les Mathews patterns.
Should I get the puppies outside?
In my collection. Yeah, so we're going to cut here, and Allison will let the dogs out. And we're back. This project lives in this bag from Kathy's Posies. And I don't know who makes this fabric, but I do know fabric's one of those things where it's like you recognize the fabric, but like they don't stay in print for that long, so it's not like you can get that fabric usually the next year.
Oh.
So I don't know who makes it, but I love Kathy's Posies. Kathy's Posies bags on Etsy. She always has like cute little extra details.
I saw that. That's really pretty.
All right, so those are my 2 definite, 3 mostly definite, and 1 potential 2023 finish. So now we're gonna go into just our regular other whips. And Allison has fewer than me, so she'll be sharing 1 and I'll be sharing 2, or a few times 3, so that it kind of evens out.
Yeah.
All right, Allison, what's your first whip? Cece?
Okay, so I'm just gonna randomly pull bags.
Okay.
I think that would be the best. Okay, so the first project I picked was my Christmas Day start. So this is this is 12 Days of Christmas. Let me find it in all its glory. Not much. This is 12 Days of Christmas.
You started this yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday was Christmas. 12 Days of Christmas by Tiny Modernist, and it's her 2016.
Do you have the paper pattern for it?
I do not have the paper pattern.
Okay, so the pattern is here.
Isn't it gorgeous? If you want to know my affinity for 12 Days of Christmas, watch one of our Flosstubes.
We've talked about it.
We've talked about it a couple different times. My birthday is at the end of the 12 Days of Christmas, so that's where it holds a special part for me. But so that's as far as I've gotten. This is going to be a Sal that I'm doing. It's called, I'm doing it with Katie from Peacock Stitcher. It's cross stitch.
I'll put the hashtag.
Yeah,
right
the
hashtag hashtag is xstitch, and I know this because I do the
social media part.
Yeah, xstitch xmas 365.
Okay, so that's gonna be our Sal. We're gonna stitch one day per month until we have the 12 Days of Christmas done. So hopefully it'll be done by Christmas next year. I know, it's gonna be fun. So,
and I know other people are joining you.
Yes, we've had a couple other people say that they were going to join in. And some people are like, well, I don't want to buy the pattern, but I'll do Christmas all year. So they're stitching a Christmas ornament every month.
So I decided last night, like at the last minute, I am going to join this Sal, but I'm not doing
this pattern.
That pattern. I'm doing some other stuff. I'll show you guys.
Yeah. So there you go.
And
a good start.
Oh, on the car on the way over here, like I had to drop my kids off at my parents' before we came over. And Jordan and I were singing, my son is 3, but he's almost 4. We were singing the 12 Days of Christmas. And he liked singing it. But we got to 6. And when we finished 6, he goes, we're done singing. And then I was like, oh, he's like, no, there are no more songs. So he was very enthusiastic for the first 6 days of Christmas. And then he was done.
That's all you need. That's awesome.
All right, so I'm just gonna pull mine in the order of the pile that they are in, because that will be the easiest. So this is Halloween Pumpkin Patch by KEB Studio Creations. This was an exclusive to the Fanciful Flamingo box, but now she released it for Halloween this year, so you can get it off her Etsy shop. But yeah, it's just like really cute little Quaker Halloween pumpkins. Now, when I was doing this, I decided to change the border because the border is just 5 in between the little Quaker. I guess they're called Stars of Bethlehem, actually, which we've all learned from the tree, like all the Tetris information going around the community, which has been really interesting to learn about and important. But in between there's just 5 confetti dots, and I changed it because I didn't want to do that, but now I don't really like what I changed it to, so I am going to pull out what I have in between there. I might leave it blank. I might just do all the pumpkins and then put those stars, count the stars off based off of the pumpkin locations, because I don't like how crowded what I did looks, but I don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't want to do 50 individual confetti dots for this border either, for this like seasonal piece that's just going to be out for autumn.
Right. If your fabric is too thin, but if
you
it
can't
wasn't,
travel on it. Yeah.
If it was a
so this is 28 count vintage magnolia. It's the same fabric that I used for
and it's gorgeous, but you couldn't travel.
Yeah. From Lakeside Linen, and I'm using. So it is charted in Gentle Arts, but the box that I got it in had the DMC conversion in it, and so I'm using that. And so the orange and the greens are actually blends. So, which I think actually look great, but it already means it's kind of a finicky piece to pull out, and I just don't want to do 50 individual. So if you have any ideas of what would be a good border in between those, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do the stars and leave it, because the stars are already kind of finicky. Or I could pull out the stars that I have and just do the pumpkins with the stars in the middle. Like, yeah, it doesn't really, like, I like it, but it's just going to be like a seasonal piece that sits out like on a flat fold or something. So it's not super
This isn't going on the wall.
Yeah, it's not like a piece that has to be exactly the way it is. And it lives in this
So cute.
Kathy's Posies patchwork bag from her Etsy shop. And this is one of the only times where I don't have to, a lot of my flosses are on Flosstube bags, but I do actually have the DMC. And then these are the little like blend, like once I've created a blend, I keep them over here. And I have the finishing fabric and the counting pins if I decide to put it in a pillow. Because it all came in the box, which was really cute.
Oh, you should definitely do a pillow.
And I really like her box.
I love that fabric.
I had to stop doing the box because I just can't have that many patterns sitting there. I got the next box and I was like, now I feel guilty, like I need to do this one. And I just was like, I can't have this many beautiful kits coming in that I feel like I need to start. It's like too much pressure. But I do really love what I'm working on. And I have one Erin Elizabeth from her box, her Christmas box that I'm going to do for next Christmas. It's really pretty. So, all right, so that's one, and we have to do 2 to 1. So this is a piece you guys know well. This is Clandestine by Long Dog Sampler. So this isn't like a huge long dog. This is a long dog that fits on a fat 8. It's in her Peccadillo series. So this is halfway, so it'll be here, and then this is like probably 1/4 of the way down. And I'm stitching it on 28 count antique white casual linen. And with this silk is, you guys have seen it. If you watch our channel, you've seen this a lot because I do work on this every Sunday. I try to put 200 stitches in it every Sunday.
It's coming on beautiful.
It is stitched with a variegated silk from Moe's that I will show you called Medley. And Moe's Silk, it was just a Facebook group that you had to be in to be able to buy, but now she also opened an Etsy shop, so I'll put both in the description. And for this one, I am using a vintage hoop. I'm using this, I think it is a 6-inch princess hoop. That is really great for how wide that is. And you guys are seeing the pattern, or I already showed it, obviously.
Whatever.
Just want to make sure that I'm not getting
Obviously.
too mixed up. Well, and then that project lives in this souvenir bag from Texas.
Yeah, which I love.
That's and the inside. I don't think I've ever seen it. The inside is like,
that's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. I wish I could go back in time and go to that souvenir shop and buy like 50 and then resell them.
Yes.
Although it costs the same as a normal project bag, so it's not like I would make any money on reselling them. But it's just they would be great if they were in the community because they're so pretty.
I agree.
All right. What is your next whip?
Okay. My next whip.
Oh, I think you're right. Wait. If you have never watched our channel before and you see this, do you know what's coming?
The pumpkin house.
The pumpkin house.
Yay. I love the pumpkin house. Here's my picture. Here we go. Oh, it's not. It's in there. She's going to pull the pattern out. This is the Pumpkin House by Liz Mathews. This is when we started the Stitch Liz Mathews on Monday. And I've gotten this far on the top half of the Pumpkin House.
Are you going to pull it out this autumn or are you going to pull it out before then?
I am so into Christmas. I don't know.
Whenever you get sick of Christmas.
Yeah, it's very possible I'll get sick of Christmas mid-January. And it's also possible I won't get sick of Christmas at all. So this might come out in February. This might come out in June. This might come out in October. We don't know.
Pretty.
But it is really fun to
What are you stitching it on?
This is, what is this?
I don't know.
I have the project card. Weeks Dye Works. No, that's the bottom. This is Picture This Plus Twilight Belfast. And 32 count.
It's really pretty.
And I don't like stitching on linen.
So Allison started stitching on linen and then decided linen's not really for her, but she has some really beautiful pieces going in linen. She's gonna keep going. But she's really like she stitched on A for so long she doesn't like it.
If it's not an easy stitch, it's just not worth it. But
well,
this is
late at night, you're tired. Sometimes you ate it. It's just easier to pick up.
It is always easier to pick up. And all my
It's so pretty.
So yeah, I'm very happy about that.
I wonder if the bottom will be easier for you to stitch because of the light fabric.
I'm positive it'll be easier. I don't know why I started on the big giant house that has
It's
so
looking
many
really
stitches.
good.
So many stitches. Well, I ran out of steam halfway through I'm not even halfway through the roof.
Yeah.
And I ran out of steam, so I don't know what I was thinking. But it'll totally be worth it because I think this piece is it's just gorgeous. Like, this is the kind of piece I would hang all year.
Yeah.
Because it's just.
Well, by the time you sew the two
gorgeous.
pieces together, you just need to.
I'm still scared about that part. So this is the top, and you actually sew the bottom on it. If you haven't seen this piece before, you sew the second piece of fabric on the bottom. In fact, where's the second piece? And I haven't watched all the videos on how to do that yet, so I'm very scared. But this is the bottom half. That's what's going to be the color. It's just the beige.
Oh, on the picture it looks white, but it's really beige. That's
no, it's beige. Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the called for because I don't think I would have chosen
Mathews
that.
patterns, I feel like her photography on her finishes on the patterns is some of the most beautiful like you'll ever see. But I do find, because I've now kitted up enough of them, that sometimes the called for fabric is a little bit different than the picture, and it's always interesting when I actually pull the real fabric.
Really?
And twice I have chosen to go with my own fabric that matches the picture because I fell in love with the picture as opposed to the called for.
Yeah, I could see that. That's not the called for blue. They were out of called for blue, so I picked darker, so it's a more midnight pumpkin house. But I love that color.
It's really pretty.
I do.
All right, so my next one is Yellow Submarine.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, I didn't bring the pattern. Okay, I'll show it. I have the pattern, but I don't know why I didn't grab it. That's so funny. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now, if you watch our channel, I've talked about the saga of the Blackbird patterns for the Beatles many times, so I won't go over that again. But right now I'm just working in here, and then when I get bored of that, go do a little bit of something else and then come back. But I love it. I try to stitch 200 stitches in this every Sunday. A lot of the projects that I try to hit weekly, since our last Flosstube, I've gone full Christmas stitching, and will stay that way until New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. But this, for next year, will get picked up 200 stitches every Sunday. And then I am going to do Imkissa Creations is joining us, and me and Julian Stitches, which is Julian Stitches 16 on YouTube and Instagram, are doing a sale where you can start February 13th, and if you want to do any of the Blackbird Magical Mystery Tour patterns, or 6 of them, and you want to join us with any of them, even when you're already doing it, if you just want to like focus on it more with us. So I'm trying to get this guy done excuse me, before that one starts. But if it's not fully done, it'll be pretty close because it only has like, I did the math and it was like I was going to either finish the week before or I might finish the week after. So it'll be really close. And I might try to put a little extra work in ahead of time to get done. Yeah. And then I'm going to switch to Strawberry Fields.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
And you might join us.
I want to do the Eleanor.
Yeah. One. So,
and so I probably will join you.
Because I did buy all 6 of them. Thanks, Jan Holder.
Thank you.
Jan Holder, who is Jan Holder on Flosstube, who put up with Jan on Flosstube. She has been so wonderful to talk to, and she might, if we get into the class that we're trying to get into, she's going to be there.
Oh, really?
So so I really hope we get in, because that would also be really fun to meet her in person. Because she lives in Texas.
That's awesome.
So, but she kindly suggested when I bought all 5 of them, but of the Magical Mystery Tour patterns, but didn't get Eleanor Rigby, but could find it at other places, she said, like, if it's a Blackbird pattern you love, get it. Just like that's a rule in life. If you love a Blackbird pattern, just buy it, because you don't know. And yes, a lot of them are back in print, but you just don't know. Just get it. So like $8 now versus like.
Well, and I think they're unique because she had to get the rights to do it.
I don't understand exactly how that worked either. I don't know, because they're old and the patterns are old enough that like these patterns came out in like 2012, 2014, like. Excuse me. So, but I love this one. My son, of the There There are no more days than the
No
12
more
days of
days.
Christmas.
6 is
Yellow Submarine, I've mentioned this many times, so I'm sorry if I'm boring people who watch this all the time, but Yellow Submarine is one of his favorite songs. We sing it a lot on the way to school, but he won't really sing it in front of other people. I did get him to sing it once at Thanksgiving, but he sings it enough on the way to school that it was my Spotify #1 most listened to song this year, and probably will be next year.
Oh.
So this is kind of for him. It's for me, but it's like a lot of the things I'm stitching that are like for my kids. It's like it's really more to commemorate this part of our lives.
Yeah.
Because like, and whether they care about these things when they're grown-ups or not is like, it's not really a gift for him. It's more to like decorate our house with things that are shared memories.
Yeah.
And then if he
and if he does want it, then
well, if he wants it, he can wait till I'm dead. No, I'm just kidding.
okay. That got dark.
You know what? Stitching really does make you think about like what you're leaving behind. Because like one, what would happen if all your stitchy stuff if like someone just walked like you go into like a used store and like you can just tell that somebody like lovingly stitched is in the Goodwill for $2, and it makes you think
I'm
like
okay with that.
Like not like that it's a problem, but just like cherish what you have now, and things that are important to you may not be important to other people, and like also maybe tell people what to do with your stuff. So Allison and I have a deal. Like if something happens to me, she gets all my stitchy stuff, obviously, but she needs to save some of it so that if
her children are
either of my kids decide they want to do it, that there'd be enough left over that they could pick up my stuff. Which between like patterns and hoops and things,
you have more stuff.
It wouldn't
than I could ever
fabric,
stitch,
yeah.
let alone me, Molly, and Jordan.
Yeah. And it lives in this Thread Lady 99 bag, but and I'm stitching it on. I always forget the name of this fabric. Through the Stones, 28 count from Bestitch Me, which I think is just perfect. And I saved the other half of this fat quarter for the Octopus's Garden pattern.
Yeah.
And it's all called for, and this one's all Gentle Arts. But so the bag that lives in right now, next time you see it, it will get moved up to, well, maybe not next time, but a stitchy friend sent me some stitchy kindness of like the most perfect project bag for this to live in. And as soon as I get to show and properly thank her on our next Flosstube, as soon as that happens, this is moving on up. This
is so perfect when they match the bag.
I love it so much.
It like clicks and it's like. Click,
and yours is cool because yours will always match your bags.
Well, I'm hoping I can keep them on theme or at least so that they go together. I don't know.
You do have more project bags than you ever thought.
I have so many project bags.
Well, and this project bag is kind of funny because like it is the one that all my projects start out in, and then they eventually get moved to something better for them. But like, so it's used to.
It's a starting bag.
Yeah, it's used to being the tiny home before they get the big home. Okay, did I do one or two? I think I just did one.
We're having fun. Just throw it in.
We'll go ahead and do another one just in case. Okay, so this is the other Liz Mathews that I'm currently working on. That's WIP. I have a Liz Mathews that I showed in plans. That's part of a set that I'm doing.
Look at those flowers.
This is Flowers and Friends, and here you can see the original. Now it was a Patreon exclusive from September 15th to October 15th. So my guess is it will be a general release next autumn. So if you love it, you can probably get it like in the not too distant future. Like it could still be your 2024 WIP for you.
Yeah.
I am doing it with a conversion of like I did a silk conversion to Stitchy Box. So this is a combo of Stitchy Box bows, Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and yeah, I think that's all. Silk. But I didn't write this conversion down because at the time most silks were like not things you could just go order, so it didn't make sense to like really care about what the names of them were anyway. Sorry, I'm just seeing this tail. Now I am almost completely out of this blue. I underestimated how much blue I needed. So I'm going to have to re-up on that. So I'm very happy that the blue I chose was a Stitchy Box that is reloadable. Oh, and I didn't show you guys this. So Yellow Submarine is getting stitched with, so I have two hoops that are these like 7-inch princess hoops that I bought together, and these go with these projects. I love a princess suit.
I love saying princess suit, but I cannot tell the difference.
Should I use a princess suit for it?
Absolutely, you should use a princess suit.
Which really
For the
normally
princess
I'd
style.
want to do in a Q snap, but I think I'll start it in a princess suit just
You
because.
should absolutely do that.
So right now I'm just in these flowers. These flowers are a little bit tedious because they're 4 colors each, and the fabric that I chose, you really can't travel between them. And there's 15 total. So I'm gonna work my way through them once I'm done with Humbug on Mondays. And just the nice thing about doing my projects on theme days where it's like, okay, just get 200 stitches this day on this project is it makes it so like things that are a little more tedious, it's fine because it's a little goal. It's not like, oh, I'm stuck in this border and I'm not moving on to this project until and this one will get finished this year because I don't remember how much I have left on it, but it's not close to being done, but it will get finished I think in about 6 months if I don't ever add more. And it's not on my WIP Go board.
So far, none of these have been on.
No, because these are all pretty small. I only have 8 projects on my WIP Go board. They're all big, and they're all things that are going to get multiple turns on my WIP Go board. So anything that I could naturally finish doing 200 stitches a week in like 6 to 10 months, there's no point now. Yeah. So this only has 3,700 stitches left, and it's 38% complete. So it will definitely get finished, and it will be beautiful. I'm doing it on 28 count. So I'm doing it on 28 count Lakeside Linen in Vintage Magnolia. So Humbug and Halloween Pumpkin Patch and this all shared one fat quarter, and I think I still have a little bit of it left.
That's a big fat quarter.
Yeah, so that's kind of why it's nice. Like if I see Lakeside Linen, I just buy it and know something will happen good for it, and then I don't even mind cutting it up into smaller pieces because I will find something to do. Yeah, it's like even if yes, it obviously would be great if I had a fat quarter of it, like if something came up for it. But it's also kind of fun having a nice linen on a bunch of different smalls, like that, so. Yeah. And it lives in my other Thread Lady 99 bag on Etsy, from Etsy. And
I like having a lot of smalls.
I like having a mix.
Good.
Yeah.
They feel good to be like, oh, I finished that in a week.
Yeah. So of my 29 projects that I'm doing, that I have now, 3 or 4 of them will get finished this year. So I'll roll into next year with 25 or 26. And of those, 13 are scheduled to get done next year.
Great.
So the real issue is just that I'm starting a ton because I'm doing 24 new starts in 24, which I have a whole separate video about. So you can go check that out. So I will end the next year with like a lot more projects than I have now. But not that many more because I am finishing a lot of them. So yeah. I'll roll into 2025 with slightly under 40, unless I start a bunch of other seasonal stuff too. So probably 50.
About 50. More. Give or take a few. Okay.
What's your next WIP, Sissy?
I'm just doing this like grab bag style. I'm just picking one. Oh, this is the one I started today.
Oh,
this
cool.
is my anniversary stitch, and I only have a PDF. This was a Jingle Bell exclusive. Jingle Ball.
Jingle Bell?
Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell. This is a Jingle Ball exclusive called Holiday Glow. And
by Satsuma Street? Oh my gosh, you got so far. Ta-da. Oh, it's so pretty. You can see what the original pattern looks like here. And you got so far.
Yeah, it's just like a couple hours. It's very quick.
It's really
This is a very quick stitch.
Well, you were worried about this color, and it looks great.
Yeah, with the other purple surrounding it, then it looks just fine. I was worried it was gonna blend too close to the red.
I love that red Ada too.
Yes, this is called Christmas Red. I think it's just red Ada though. I don't think it's hand dyed.
No, it's not. Yeah, but there are times when you don't want it hand dyed because you want to be able to do a lot more. You're going to be able to wash it. There's.
I only use
every material has a purpose.
Yeah, for sure. But I love this color, so I was happy that this was the called for.
It's really pretty. I love it.
So I'm doing this for December 26th is our 9th wedding anniversary. So this is, you've seen the pattern. So it's two little lovey birds, and this is actually day 2. It's the second day of Christmas.
We are going to be the days of Christmas.
We are the days of Christmas people, but it is the second day of Christmas today, and it's also our anniversary, and it's 2 turtle doves, so it's all sweet and cute.
We'll talk more about that on our next Flosstube.
Yeah.
And if you want to know the entire history of the 12 days of Christmas,
And that's what
you can check out our last Flosstube.
That's the bag I stitched for
It's
it.
very pretty.
It's so pretty. All right.
Okay. So,
and it's just red Ada. It's 16 count.
is it called for DMC?
It is the called for DMC. Yes.
All right. Oh, so I did Nora November. I have a video that I did about the plans for it, but doesn't really go over what I ended up doing. If you want to know that, check out the Flosstube we put out. That was either the right before November ended or right when December began, at the end of that time period. So this is the last thing I started during Nora November. So it is the piece that I got the least done on, obviously. So this is Elizabeth in the Lavender Sky, which is Mirabilia number 10. So there's almost 200 Mirabilia patterns right now, and 500 Nora Corbett patterns, or 600. So
wow, I had no idea.
This is one of the very first ones, and it's so 90s, and I've talked extensively about my love-hate with the style. At first I was I would never stitch that, and now I'm oh, it's so 90s, I want to stitch it. It's so 90s that my bangs that I got put back in, that I got rid of in 1999 and then put back in 2022, need to stitch this and go sit in a brown ornate kitchen and Italian style kitchen under a rooster sign. It's just so 90s. So when I did Nora November, all the other pieces I have are either current focus pieces or got more than one day, but this is the only one that just got one strand just to be an official Nora November start. And all my other Mirabilias and Nora Corbett patterns I'm doing on fancy linen, but this one
How big is this?
So that is to here on the pattern. So
pretty big.
Yeah. But it's I'm doing it on Ada with the call for DMC, and then I will get the beads when it doesn't even have beads. This Mirabilia has no beads and no carnet. It's 200 by 206 stitches.
Oh, it's very large.
So it's such a different one that I like it, that it's almost a totally different feel than stitching. Not that I've done much of it.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this on Ada because there's not very much space in here that is not stitched. And so there's a little bit between the bars, and then a little bit that's white isn't stitched. And I'm just converting it into a full coverage so that I have one Mirabilia going on Ada, because other than that, they're all on 28 count linen.
Very cool.
But I do have some issues with the pattern. Has some spaces where I can't really tell what the things are. So I'm gonna have to. It's such an old pattern, and it was really used.
Yeah.
I got it in a pack of Teresa Winslers for $10. This and 2 or 3 Teresa Winsler patterns were $10.
Yeah.
So it was such a good deal for me. But I didn't think I was gonna stitch it, but because I thought I was getting that Teresa Winsler unicorn piece.
Well, if I could do a mirror on Ada,
you can do a mirror on Ada. Well, I mean, especially
they're not
that green Ada that you have. A lot of people do them on 14 and 16 count Ada, but they just get a prettier Ada than white. But this will be full coverage, and so it will be framed up to the edge, or maybe I'll stitch a little bit of a border, but people won't see the Ada. So I was white Ada's fine.
Yeah.
This blanket that it lives in.
Big project.
And it lives in this kitties and glasses bag.
That bag. That cracks me up.
And the floss, so it's only DMC, but it is not a tiny bit. This is her floss bag. And I actually borrowed 1 or 2 of the colors to do the Prairie Schooler Santa, and have to, because I was well, I'm not going to get to them for a while. So I have to either put them back or replace them, because I might keep them in the Prairie Schooler, because I might just I'm always going to have a Prairie Schooler Santa going now.
Are all of the colors for Prairie Schoolers the same?
They're not exactly the same. What I'm stitching now, one's a different red than the red. But it's kind of set. It's not like,
because I have the Year Prairie School
Yeah.
Year, and I have the colors for that. And then
oh,
I
this
want to
is
do
by Carrie Sews for you. And I love her bags, and she does the big ones.
So cute.
Um,
Anyway, he's usually around us when we film. So
as far as the Prairie, so I've seen people's floss rings of doing multiple Prairie Schoolers, and they can have like 30 or 40 colors. But it's kind of like once you add a color, if you're gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do. If you're gonna have a project bag that's just Prairie Schoolers, then you just keep them all, the colors all together, and then when you get a new color on a new piece, you just add it to it, and you just, so it's just always growing, but it's never like, you're not like ever de-kitting it.
Mm-hmm.
But like the stockings that I started that I'll show you, they call for a different red than the Santa red, but I might swap it if I don't have it. I haven't decided yet. I'm not gonna have to decide that for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next piece is my first Owl Forest Friday piece that I'm working on, and this is Pumpkin Carriage. This is a freebie on their website. I am using the Owl Forest variegated threads. So if you take the freebie pattern and you want to use their DMC conversion, which I'm using their DMC conversion on those winter birds, and the DMC conversions are great. But note that this is one variegated thread and this is one variegated thread, but it's really they're both really two distinct colors. And so you might be better off converting them based on your eyes of what you're seeing on the pattern as opposed to just what they tell you the conversion is. Because you won't have any of the scarlet color or any of the brown if you just use their DMC conversion. And this one is going to get finished soon because it only has 1,500 stitches left. So I don't know if I'm going to finish it during January. So we're doing a princess birthday sal for Allison. You can start any princess theme pattern anytime in January. We're going to start ours January 1st. Well, I'm going to start one January 1st and then one on January 6th, which is your actual birthday.
I'm doing the same. I have two.
Because I have two. I'm going to do Mirabilia Cinderella, and then I'm going to do one of my own photographs. And you're doing...
I'm doing Brooks Books, Cinderella #1, and then I'm doing Thomas Kincaid's Disney Cinderella.
Yeah, so
if
you want to join us.
On a Star or something like that.
The hashtag is Princess Birthday Sal, which I'll show right here. And this is a free pattern. If you want to join us and you don't want to buy a pattern, you can use this one.
And it's so
cute. It's just on the Owl Forest embroidery website. But we have a video about the Princess Birthday Sal with like 1,000, well, like really like 100 princess ideas. And then I've seen even more since then. So I may try to finish this during January for the Sal. But if it doesn't get finished during January, it will get finished soon because it only needs 1,500 stitches left. So at my normal pace, that would be like sometime in February, but I might try to hurry it up to get it done in January. Also, it goes really fast because it's like Cinderella Pumpkin Carriage goes really fast. So I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing it with the variegated thread pack, which you can see me opening. I did an unboxing for when I bought the Owl Forest thread packs and kits. I did an unboxing for that, so that's on our channel, and I'll link that in the description too. And you can see the variegated threads. And this is what I'm talking about, that this is just one thread they list, but they only convert it to one color, but you would really lose a lot of the dimension if you did that. So I would look at the colors and convert it into two. Then this one you could convert as just the one and you'd be fine. And this is more, like, it's called salt and pepper, and it's more of a black and white mix, like a salt and pepper beard. But you could just do it as a gray and you'd be fine.
Yeah, like a dark gray.
Then I'm stitching that with this oval Duchess hoop. And this is 28 count Witchell linen. This is the worst linen I've ever... Yeah. It's not the worst linen I've ever stitched on that. I'll show you the other one, but I really hate Witchell 28 count linen. I will never use it again. I have a little bit in my stash. I'm going to de-stash at some point in the de-stash group just to try to get back like something close to what I paid for it, because I know people do like it, but I hate it. Yeah. And I will never use it again.
Well, and I didn't like stitching on paper. I don't think I like stitching on pure plastic. It's just...
I love stitching on linen, and I like stitching on even weave. I hate stitching on this linen.
This is different.
But I'm going to finish this one and then not use this type of linen again. But I'm too far and it's too pretty to like...
Oh, yeah. It's looking great.
It just feels like taffeta.
Yeah. It's not fun.
But,
very pretty.
Yay. And it lives in this Kathy's Posies bag. It has this little sweet flower on it. I love her bags. She doesn't have like a ton of variety up all the time, but her bags ship really fast because they're all ready made. Or if they're not already made, she's doing the same like ideas. But most of them have some kind of cool detail that's different than other bags. So the other project I have that's on this Witchel Ada that I hate is Karamia by Witch's Garden Crafts. I love this pattern so much. You can see it here. Karamia is what Gomez Adams, I don't know if it's a nickname or just what he says to her, but it's what Gomez Adams says to Morticia Adams. I love the Adams family. Look at this like cute Jasmine custom bag that it lives in from the Wednesday show. So I love this pattern, and this is I started on Ada, hated it. It looked too, like, the holes looked too loose. Then I started on this, and I really hate this too. So I think I might restart it. I think I might restart it on purple. I do have to say, Elizabeth Savory from Savory Sewing has totally influenced me into being a more of a purple Halloween person than I ever was.
You should embrace it.
And I have a really pretty color of purple linen called Nightshade that was a Bestitch Me like color of the month that has like very cool undertones that I think the black would look really good on. And then I have another purple too. So I'm definitely going to restart this. Some people gave some really kind suggestions of like, you know, I could soak it to try to get it softer. And that is true, which is why I haven't fully scrapped this piece yet. And I'm like just sitting there. But it's going to be time to pick this up in February because I'm going to do my dark 13 stitching on this piece all year. So when I have to pick it up in January, I'm going to have to make a decision. So I kind of got a reprieve during Christmas season that I wasn't stitching that stuff, but yeah, I will need to. Oh, you got to see the needle minder for this. I do love I love a matching needle minder, but a little haunted house.
Yeah, that's cute.
And I'm stitching this with this Oval Duchess.
I love a matching.
And I have the one that is what he says to her or what she says to him back, which is Mon Cher. I have that pattern too, but it's not going to get started until this one's done, so it won't get started in 2024. But I'm going to be stitching them for a long time, so I want to like the fabric that I'm stitching it on.
I think purple would be a good idea.
I don't know 100% that that's what I want to do, but it's like, you know, I think like stark white isn't great. There's one other piece that I have where it seems silly to cut this fat quarter up for this piece, but if that I'm saving for this other piece, but if I measure that out and there's enough left for this, that could also look good. I just gotta figure it out.
You're not worried about having the Mon Cher?
No, I want to. If they could all enough. Three fit on the same fat quarter, then I might do that. Yeah. I don't know what I want to do.
Ah, this is fun. It's a grab bag. Okay, this is where's the pattern? There we go.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember which one this is.
Oh, this is the Quilted Witch by Lori Holt.
Which is a big sucker.
It's much larger than what I thought when I purchased it. I'm not going to lie. It is much bigger. And I've lost the front of it, apparently. Oh, sadness. There it is.
I was going to say, there's no way. Like,
I've lost so many things that there's always a possibility. My memory is not the greatest. This is the Quilted Witch, and she is huge. She is absolutely huge, but I'm having a really fun time stitching her quilted skirt. But I do not like the linen that I chose. But
which is also a 28 count Witchel.
28 count Witchel.
And you didn't really choose it. I had it in stash and...
Oh yeah, that's right. This is your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. I think it's fault. It's grayer. It's Icelandic gray. The color looks good. It's just Witchel does not for this stitch on. In the 28 count. I don't know about higher counts.
Yeah. I don't even think washing it would do anything. I mean, we could try and wash it. Can you wash it after you stitch this much?
I think if you're stitching with DMC, yeah. But it just looks like... DMC. It looks like you're stitching on pantyhose. It's just this too...
I know. You can see my entire outline through...
Yeah.
That's how thin this is.
And it will look beautiful when it's done, but like, yeah. We're breaking up with Witchel 28 count.
Absolutely.
It looks beautiful.
So this is my headless woman.
Look at the details on the skirt.
It's a lot of fun.
How much do you think you have left? Oh, you
I don't. It's paper, so I don't have any stats on it. I started it in September.
It's really pretty. Our local quilting shop, the Savage Quilter, sells a few select cross stitch items.
Mostly Lori Holt.
Yeah, they sell a few Lori Holt patterns and then Cosmo Floss. So if you are an Oklahoma City stitcher and you don't want to go the silver needle and you don't want to
source online. If you want to buy,
the Savage Quilter has a little bit, and we try to buy stuff from them because we really want them to get more. And then also Sukasa, the needlepoint store, doesn't have everything, but you could call and find out because they do have some things like water lilies, and they have more things than you might expect. So you could always call them and ask them what they have on hand if there's something you need.
Yeah.
But
so I bought this there, and I did not realize it was this big. I kind of picked it up as I'm waiting for something else to come in, so I'll just start this, and then realize, oh, this is a start on it.
It's a commitment,
this is. So I'm not feeling this right now because I'm so into Christmas, but I'm not 100% sure it'll get picked up before summer either, because it's just so autumn that I don't feel cold.
The colors are it's so colorful. It doesn't just scream autumn colors, but the themes are so.
Yeah.
And you have a lot left because there's so many quilting motifs outside of that witch.
Yeah. After I'm done with her gigantic skirt, I still have all these giant quilt blocks to do. So
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's gonna be gorgeous. I'm gonna have it framed. It's gonna go up for autumn, all of fall on my walls, but
do they want to go back out now that they've warmed up?
They probably do.
All right, dog break.
And
we're back. These doggies. Okay, so this is my reality TV stitch. So whenever I sit down and watch reality TV, I try to put two threads in it. 2 stitches. I have not been doing that during December because of seasonal stitching for other things, but this is Song of the People by Told in a Garden. And I started stitching this because I found this pattern at a local charity shop for $1 and I just felt like it needed to be rescued and I really liked it, but I never really heard of Told in a Garden and didn't know it was the same woman that did Lavender and Lace or Butternut Road, and Marriott Levitt Emblem is her name. And I think she's Nora Corbett's mom.
Really?
I think
let's look that up.
So she's more, I believe so, but she's more famous for Lavender and Lace in I think, well, let me back up. Lavender and Lace is more commonly still stitched, but Told in the Garden is still stitched too, and they're all still in reproduction. So never let somebody try to sell you an out of print, because none of them are
not out of print. Interesting.
But she lived in the Amish country in Pennsylvania, and so Told in the Garden is a lot of Amish scenes that from her living there. And I lived in Pennsylvania, but I live in Philadelphia for 10 years. But I have friends that live out in Lancaster, and then I obviously interacted being in Pennsylvania for a long time with the Amish in different areas. We had a vegetable co-op that we were a part of for a long time, and the vegetable co-op was Amish farms would do a collective one and then drive it into the city. So you were buying from a collection of 10 Amish farms. So you got all kinds of cool different stuff. And then you also could do eggs and bread and stuff. And it was such a good farm share.
Yeah.
So this is kind of I love it just reminds me of living in Pennsylvania. Some of the fun stuff. And then also these barn quilts are just the details in them is so much fun. Really? But it does make it kind of, the areas that I'm in take a long time. This was 3 or 4 nights of 2 strands,
but it's so pretty.
It's because there's 2 shades of purple, a shade of blue, and a shade of green and black in just that one quilt.
Yeah. It's
worth it, but it's on 14 count, summer khaki 80, which is the called for. And I'm in no hurry to
Is it that big?
It's got a 3-inch border, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in any hurry to finish it. I'm just gonna do 2 strands a day, starting back up in January. And whenever I sit down to watch reality TV, so it doesn't get 2 strands every day. But if I sit down and watch Real Housewives or Sister Wives or something, I'll do this first.
I wish Valerie would appreciate
I know.
the work that goes into this housewife stitch.
But I just think it's so beautiful. And it lives in this Barn Quilts bag by Carrie Sews for You.
That's cute.
And right now I am stitching it with this, like, I think it's an 8-inch princess hoop. But I think I'm going to switch it over to a Q-snap. Even though I like doing the Amish piece in the vintage hoop, I think I like seeing, it's not full coverage, but I like seeing things that are full coverage, like pictures and Q-snaps more, and seeing more of the picture of it. Whereas, like, I like doing more delicate stitching in like and and
with
feeling
the delicate
like
linen.
pretending I'm like Kirsten or Felicity or Samantha, the original Samantha. All right. Okay, so this next start, I'll show you what the picture of it. It's Poisonous Plants by the Witchy Stitcher. Lots of people have stitched this. I bought 4 Witchy Stitcher patterns for Witchy for Stitchy.
Oh, you can't see that.
And I finished Baba Yaga. I have gotten really far on another one. And then I had 2 more. I did started 3 of them on Witchy Stitcher Day, which is October 1st. Like, it was, so she is obviously a prolific and loved cross-stitch pattern designer who is publicly going through some health issues, and people were buying her patterns specifically to support her business during this time where she needs extra income, and not even extra income, but just no income is coming in for times when she can't work and things
stressful,
like that. Yeah, so I went ahead and started all 3 patterns on Witchy Stitcher Day, but this was not one that I chose to keep making focus. It is going to be a focus going into 2024. I don't think it'll get finished in 2024, but my only conundrum is since I started it on I don't think the called for is black 8. I think the called for might be a black linen, but the called for is black. But since I started it, I saw someone who finished it on a light color, like a cream color linen, and it looked so delicate for the fact that it's these poisonous plants. I think I might want to restart it on something else. So I'm going to be trying to put in 200 stitches a week into this on Thursdays after I finish another project that I have. And so let's finish this one and then we'll deal with the dog. But anyway, so I might restart it. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do. It lives in this poisonous plant. I mean, these are really just roses, but in this Pretty Plants bag by Carrie Sews for You. With this cute little flower button. And like, I think the floss pack is really pretty for it. I'm using this vintage Duchess tube on it. I really should figure out what the sizes are and write them all down, but
rulers right there.
But yeah, if I restart this, I'll give you the black Ada, because if I restart it, that means I'm breaking up with black Ada, which I might.
I actually do not mind stitching on black Ada.
I just don't like stitching on Ada that much to begin with, so I want to be pretty particular about what projects I have going on Ada are things that in the non-full coverage space, because full coverage is different. When I'm stitching on Ada and it's not full coverage, it needs to be something that's pretty easy for me to do at mom and dad's or whatever, or if I'm sick. Like, I had COVID for the last week and I couldn't stitch very much. So, so adding like a level of difficulty, like making it black Ada, it seems silly. It's like, because if I can stitch on black Ada, I can stitch on linen,
That's true.
So.
That's a good point.
All right, we're going to take a dog break. Okay, so we're back. We'll probably need a few more dog breaks, but we'll see. They're being a little... Like, why is mommy not talking to us?
They're kind of needy, but that's okay.
So cute. Okay, so I haven't been mentioning things that are on WIPCO. I'm pretty sure Elizabeth and the Lavender Sky is not on my WIPCO, but I think it was on a version at one point, but I don't think it's on my final version of WIPCO. So I'll just double check that. But so far none of them have been, so I haven't been missing anything. All right, so that was mine. What's your next one?
Okay. Pick.
Oh.
I know what this is.
Oh, it's a mystery. So we will at some point do a fun vlog of Allison doing these canvas bags, because if you've never stitched on a non-cross-stitch material, this is the waist canvas that she's using But this bag's not done yet.
Yeah, this one's not done yet. I could not find the perfect.
Well, it doesn't have little motifs. You might
It
have to
doesn't
just
have
do
little
like one of
motifs.
these squares or
Okay.
something.
So this is the Vineyard by Stephanie.
So this is based on, this is the first piece we pulled that's based on one of my travel photos. So that's what this picture is here. And this is a vineyard in the Douro region of Portugal, of northern Portugal.
And you'll have to get really close because...
Oh, and it's, so I've talked about this a lot before, but if you are new here, when you take a photo, most photos don't look good converted to something this small or smaller. But when you take a photo that does look good converted to something this small, it's like you're taking something that is a photo and turning it into like an impressionist painting. It's some people call it pixelated. I think a good conversion doesn't look super pixelated. What it looks is like a dream, like impressionist painting, because impressionism is where you have two colors
Like
rub up against each other and doesn't have a line, right? And so you're taking out a lot of the detail and you're putting colors next to each other to form those shapes. So it will look like impressionism.
Yeah.
But
and you could already see.
Yeah. So from up close, it just looks like a bunch of random dots of color, but far away, it will look like a vineyard. Yeah. In your house on a wall, they look really good when they're done right. Yeah. There's a lot of bad ones out there, so you got to be careful when you're buying them on Etsy.
Yeah. Well, so far, so good. So that's a page finish because the bottom page is obviously short.
Oh, yeah, you actually gridded. The grid is slightly larger than the
gridded
actual.
it myself. It's not, I didn't even know that you could buy pre-gridded fabric, so I gridded it myself. And it's longer just so I can make it a full box. So it's done on the bottom for that page.
It's really pretty.
And I will work on this all summer because these colors just scream spring, summer, be outside, and they're so sweet. Look at all those greens and sweet little pinks. So.
Yeah, we took that trip in late April. It's like a late middle of spring, summer vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
So. And it's gonna be so pretty. And she's making it as a gift for me.
Yes, it's a gift for Stephanie.
I can't wait. I'm going to wait, and I can wait because
you're gonna have to wait.
But it's beautiful.
It is full coverage.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And so I'm making that for Stephanie. I started it September, August.
Yeah, I think August. Whenever we started cross stitching together.
Yeah,
because you kitted it up with me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's that one. And so for the bag, I found a free bunch of grapes, but the more I stitch on the bags, the more I'm realizing I don't want something this big.
No,
I want tiny motions. Yeah. So I'm going to figure something else out, but this is how I know what's in this bag. So there you go.
All right. So my next piece is another one of my 3 Witchy Stitcher Day starts, but this is the one I kept going on. So this is Ghost Stories. And you can see what it looks like here. I'm doing this on like a 14 count ivory Aida. I wouldn't pick this fabric again if I was going to do it again. I would pick something more delicate, but I think it will look really good on this fabric.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm too far into want to stop. I won't pick this piece back up again probably until spooky season rolls around because I'll be working on, if I want a Witchy Stitcher, when I'm working on Witchy Stitcher, I'll pick up Poisonous Plants, and that won't get done. So this will come out in Halloween, and it lives in this potentially.
It's very spooky.
Yeah, it lives in this Haunted Mansions bag by Carrie Sews For You. I really love it. This is a great piece. I would take this to my son's soccer practice. Yeah. It's like. So, like, when I talk about having, like, Aida pieces that are intentionally easy, this was a great one for that. This will probably be, like, my spooky season travel stitching for a while. That's good. And it has a lot of colors in it, but mostly the colors are black, and then there's just a few colors in the ghost. So when it's done, a lot of these DMC are going to be released.
My dog has come to say hello. Sit. Sit.
We can't show you her dog because...
You can see her head.
Lolly, say hi.
Lolly, sit down.
They might not. Josie just jumped on all of her projects.
All of my projects.
So
this is Josie.
Maybe Lolly needs to go to her cage and Josie, or not her cage, her crate, and Josie can be on the couch.
Okay.
Lolly's she's a sweetheart, but she's 2 years old and she's very big.
She's huge. Come on.
All right.
She's a
Dog
standard
break.
poodle. Come on.
All right. So we'll see which poodles join us again later. All right. So long-time viewers of the channel have seen this many times because Allison finished hers and I did not. So this is the Wishes Cabinet by Witch's Garden Crafts. This was a stitch along in October where she released one motif a day. And I felt like I did a really good job trying to stay caught up, but like it just didn't happen. It's on a 28 count even weave that from Witch's Garden Crafts in the colorway Lavender Mist. I don't know if it's a Lugana or a Monaco or I did look up the difference and it's like I don't think I could tell based on touching, and she just lists them as even weaves. So, but I just have 7 motifs to finish, so I didn't want to do it during Christmas. So basically the way my theme days work, on Thursdays I will either stitch something that's like spooky from Witch's Garden Crafts or Witchy Stitcher like Poisonous Plants, or I will stitch something like bright and shiny from Lori Holt, and it kind of depends on my mood. So I will start picking this back up again in January and putting in 200 stitches every Thursday until it's done. And so this will be an early 2024 finish. These motifs are going to go in like as is. This one I'm changing up a little bit. And then the original pattern said the Witch's Cabinet at the bottom. Or Witch's Cabinet, not the Witch's Cabinet. But I want to change the font, and so it is going to take me... The last thing I'll do is figure out what font I want to do and exactly what I want it to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it looks really good. I just like Halloween ended and I did it a little bit past Halloween, and then I was like, you know what, I really don't want to do this during Christmas.
Yeah. So
and I don't know how I'm gonna I think I'm gonna frame it, but it will be like a seasonal frame.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Josie, Allison's miniature poodle.
She's a mini poodle. And
then Lolly is the standard poodle that unfortunately is very sweet, but just is
large.
large. And doesn't really know that she's large.
She doesn't pay attention.
And this lives in this Carrie Sews For You cat bag that you guys saw a lot of this past year because other projects lives in it. And it's one where Carrie sent the Notions bag with it like complimentary, which was really sweet and so cute.
Yeah.
And this is the bag that made our other sister be like, what are you guys doing? And why do you need so many holiday bags? All right.
Me?
Yes. Yes. So you guys, we have dogs. I'm sorry.
We have dogs.
If we did it in my house, it would just be my son going, Mommy, Mommy.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
You can stay because you're tiny, but it's really, you're the reason you guys are in trouble. Lolly was fine.
Now Lolly's missing.
Yeah, now Molly's got FOMO.
Okay. All right. This is another Year Creeps by. Where's my pattern?
Look at these tiny bats.
I love stitching the tiny bats. That's my favorite part. I know I have the pattern here somewhere. Ta-da. Another Year Creeps by Ink Circles.
I can take it out of the...
I'm doing this as a calendar stitch. So I started in October and I do 1 square a month. And so I am all the way through December. And this is it. I'm not doing it in the same order as the pattern.
I've never taken this out of the packaging before, so you guys are really getting a treat today.
So those are the squares I've done.
So you're just picking a square that you want to do next in a random order.
I am. In fact, Stephanie has picked square number 4.
I haven't seen your... Oh.
That's because next month.
Okay.
This is December and I finished December's already. But I love them. Oh, I think they're so cool and creepy and tiny and beautiful. This is 40 count Fox and Rabbit prehistoric. And I've said this too many times already. I don't like stitching on linen. But this is okay. I think
it's good to prove to yourself that you can stitch on linen, and you don't because you don't like it, not because you're like intimidated by it.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of linen projects going, they're not your favorite.
It's not my favorite. Of course, I would pick one that I have to stitch on every single month.
I know. I feel like it's good. It's like you'll be like, I stitched on linen for 40 count for a year. I didn't like it.
40 count for a whole year. But I love how tiny and cute it is, so I'm gonna try 20 count Ada.
Yeah.
I did buy a piece of 20 count Ada, but the project I was going to do it on It's too small, so it would be microscopic if I used the 20 count.
What did you buy it for?
12 Days of Christmas.
Oh.
And then I was doing it on 28 count even weave, and I'm like, oh, it would have been like teeny,
Yeah.
tiny. But this is gonna be amazing. I can't wait till this is done. So I picked that one, and then my husband picked that one, and then I picked that one, and Stephanie has picked out the poppy one.
The least deathly.
I
mean, it's poppies,
it's
but
poppies. It's deathly. The deathly poppies. Yeah, that's that one.
Yay!
And I stitched bats on the. There's one motif that's bats, but my favorite part of this project is all the tiny little bats in the corner. So.
All right, so we took another dog break, but it got announced in the middle of some chaos, so we just cut the whole thing. So my next one is my third Witchy Stitcher Day start, but it's the one that you can see the least well. It's Frosted Pumpkin Cottage, and I'll show this is the PDF, but I want to show you guys on here because instead of showing you as the insert, because I want to be able to show you guys exactly where I was stitching because you won't be able to tell. Now this piece is about twice as many stitches, so all the other Witchy Stitcher patterns I have, I think Poisonous Plants is, but Baba Yaga was 6,000 and Ghost Stories is like 3,000 or 4,000. This one is 10,000, so it's a lot bigger. And I did a center start of white on this Rustico Ada, 14 count Ada, which Baba Yaga is also on this Ada, so I think they'll look really good together eventually when they're both out at Halloween. But, okay, so I did a center start, and so I started on this icing. Or frosted, but like it's really snow, but like, you know, it's like these dogs are not having it today.
Well, Ollie's like, no, you cannot do anything without me.
So you can't see it, but it will be surrounded. So I'm not worried about it in the long run. But as far as like a start, it's very funny. I love the fabric. I am definitely going to keep going on this start once I pick it up. But it's just funny.
Yeah.
As a Witchy Stitcher Day, I start like, oh, are there stitches on there? And I just did one.
In person, you can see it.
One little strand.
Yeah.
And that lives in this pumpkin truck bag by Carrie Sews For You. I might next Halloween. I do like to. I like to think about what's in what bag and shuffle things around and stuff. So next Halloween, who knows what it will be living in? Because I might move some things around. But right now, that's where it lives. All right. Now, my next piece is the only, not the only, is the first thing that's definitely going, that's on my WIP board. Oh, I did bring my Yellow Submarine pattern. Oh well.
Oh.
All right, so this is Moon Glow by Nora Corbett. This was my first Nora November start. And I'm doing this as a stitch along with, so Elizabeth Savory from Savory Sewing and Allie from Allie's Used Crafty and I were the first ones to do it together, and then Katie the Peacock Stitcher and Addie from Addie's Cross and Quilts, which I'll link both of those in the description, both joined in. So if you're thinking about doing this, it's not too late to join us. It's the Moonglow Magic Sal, and I'll put that here. So I'm doing mine on 28 count Paranormal from Bestitch Me, and I have gotten the full length of the left plant, but she's missing some leaves because I didn't pick her up since the last time I showed her on Flosstube. So my next thing I have to do is finish this, and then I'm going to finish the white. Then I don't know where I'm going to go after that. It depends on my mood. But this is on my WIP board 3 times next year, and I'm stitching 200 stitches on it every Tuesday. So it will get finished next year because it only has 8,500 stitches left. And if it gets finished before its final WIP call, then I will just pick up a different Nora Corbett or Mirabilia to fill that time in.
Yeah.
But I just love
gorgeous.
it.
Yeah.
And the fun thing about styling this particular pattern is the fabric choice matters so much in terms of like the mood of what is happening in the scene. And so seeing everybody's different fabric choices has been really fun. And then also Addie is beading as she goes, which she's the only one of us that I believe that is. And so her moon looks totally different because the moon right now, all those empty spaces are going to be beads. Although I really like the way it looks without the beads.
I know, it does look good without the beads.
Are going to be beads. So hers is it's, you know, it's,
Forward.
yeah, it's like, so her sections are more complete than my sections are. Cause like I have a lot of beading in these, in what I've done, I'll be going back.
Yeah.
Now this Nora Corbett is a little different than other ones because she doesn't have any Kreinik, but she does have 6 water lilies and 6 DMC. So her floss pack is not like huge. And she's the only Mirabilia or Nora Corbett pattern that I have also bought the bead pack for because she's the first one. I have just this, I don't care about beads that much, so I'm not going to hold on to a bunch of bead packs until I'm like ready to bead, but I do have her bead pack.
Have you beaded anything yet?
No,
Me either.
Not looking forward to it.
Me either.
And for a Nora Corbett, this floss pack is like very sweet and small. Well, I don't know for a Nora Corbett because all my other floss packs are for Mirabilias. This is my only Nora that I have going. And then this is from the Wild Floss series. I bought the companion piece, and I'm going to be starting her next November. That is listed in my starts video for next year. But,
Which one is that?
it's Floral Dreams. It's another naked lady looking out.
Yes,
but she has like a beautiful like. And then it lives in this Jasmine Custom Bags dragon bag that is just so beautiful.
I know, I love that bag.
All right. What's your next whip, Sissy?
Okay, grab bag time.
We're actually getting down to...
I haven't finished the bag on this one.
Well, you decided to make the OU quite large on that.
I did, and I don't know why I decided to make it this big. So it's not done yet. This is my game day stitch. This is Oklahoma Sooner Santa. His origin is iffy. I got him on Etsy. And the person I bought it from says it was a family friend who made it.
Who charted it herself.
Who charted it themselves, so I'm going with it.
And we don't know the origin of the artwork that was charted, and it's like charted on a typewriter. So like, it is what it is.
If you want to, I mean, because...
You did try to like ask them like this.
I'm going to show you this because you can't do anything with it. That is the chart. That.
Oh, you're highlighting it.
I'm highlighting it.
Did you make
I made
a copy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing.
Like, oh.
The original copy is also a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's not like a big difference.
It's just from a different era, but we don't think the person selling it has any malice, and we don't think the original artwork is like.
I just can't tell you exactly.
Anything.
So it was never made for commercial release, and it was made 20 plus years ago. So that's what I get to work with.
It looks difficult.
It's interesting to work with.
You know what's funny is that I was watching, so Marumi Crafts, Julie, who I have been talking to about the veal salad, whose channel I love, she's in a group called the Quad City Needle Minders. And Marumi, so there's another woman in their group who's a big OU football fan, but they live in like Illinois and Wisconsin because they live in the
I didn't know where.
So she doesn't live in Oklahoma, so it's not like you could be like, hey, want to come stitch with us on game day? But it was funny because your husband is a huge Green Bay fan and a huge OU fan, and Julie was wearing a Green Bay shirt in the video, and then the other woman was, and I'll list her name, I just can't remember it off the top of my head, was talking about OU football, and it was just like, oh, like Jared would just fit right into this group, and he can also hang with the cross stitch stock. So
he can. He watches a lot of Flosstube. So this, I did a center start. It is full coverage. It is quite large. So this is pre-gridded Ada, which I love.
Are you ever going back to non-pre-gridded if you don't have to?
It depends.
Like for full coverage?
There are pros and cons because I'm used to, you saw the other one. It's a bright contrast.
And you can still see it to count
and
on
once you cover it up, it's still there because you're going under it, not over it. And you're going over it, so it disappears once you're done with that square. So
there's a lot of different colors in this section.
Yeah, it's got many colors. It has an entire floss box because it's got so many colors. Doesn't all fit in the bag. And I really like working on it, but it's my game day stitch, so I only pull it out if I'm watching football.
So you're only going to pull it out 12 days a year?
We watch. I don't know about your household, but in my household, we watch football almost every day.
I was thinking OU games, so you're pulling it out during.
But if I'm watching a KU game or something, I will pull it out.
Because I was like, there's only like 12
actual game days.
Yeah, and then maybe you get a championship game, and maybe you get a bowl game. But
we have a bowl game left. Yeah. Thursday, we've got to work on this on Thursday.
What about if it was like an OU basketball game?
Yes, that would also work. We watch a lot of sports.
What
in
about
this
Oklahoma
household.
City Thunder?
Absolutely,
Okay.
it goes in there. That's a game day. Although you
So
won't
not
catch me
OU
watching
game
that
day.
many.
Not OU
Not
game
OU
day.
game day. I
Any
wish.
game day.
Any
So
game
during
day.
the Olympics of 2024?
Then the whole Olympics.
So 2 weeks this summer, you guys are going to see a lot of progress on that guy.
But it's going to take me quite a bit longer than I thought.
Because originally you wanted to have it like done for next year.
Yeah, I wanted it done by next year, but it's
not going
quite
to.
big.
It looks like it's not super fun to stitch on and needs to like not fun, but needs a lot of concentration.
It does need a lot of concentration, that's for sure.
It's also strangely purple for an OU piece, but it won't look purple once it's done.
I think it might. The picture. Okay, so the picture. Stephanie will show you a picture of it's an actual photograph that she sent along with the pattern that's not a real pattern. And it's quite purple.
Are you worried about that?
No,
okay.
Because it is what it is. It's a 20-year-old piece. It's art, and art that sooner can be purple. So I'm okay with that. It's art. Anyway, okay.
Ooh, okay. So I stitched on this one yesterday. So this is Heartstring Samplery's Christmas Bell Sampler. Allison got this pattern for me when she visited Cecilia Samplers. And we have a video about her visit to Cecilia Samplers in our Flosstube extras. So I'm stitching it on it's almost the call for. So the call for is light exemplar from Lakeside Linen. This is vintage light exemplar, I think.
Oh, so like real close.
So yeah, the only difference on the Lakeside Linens with vintage and not vintage is there's slightly more modeling, but not like actual, like compared to like other companies modeling, just like a tiny bit more. And I'm doing it on 28 count, and I don't remember what the call for.
It's big.
Yeah, so it's big, but it's gonna be like a an heirloom Christmas piece. So first thing I did was, because my margins are a little bit tight, is just grayed out this to make sure that it was gonna fit and it would be centered. And then now I'm just going back through and adding the green and adding the flowers. I'm doing it in the called for where's the back?
Josie's singing.
Okay, the bag has to be here because it would be so here. I'm doing it in the call for Gloriana Silks. I'm missing one of them. It's on back order, but I don't think that it's going to be a problem to wait for the missing one. And I have an MPI backup if that one does not come in before I like drop dead need it, but I think it'll be fine. And I will find something to do with this MPI. I really don't end up using it on this piece, because basically these greens then have like a lighter green coming out of them, like so to make it even fuller. And then there's silver bells up here that are done in this DMC.
Oh, that should be very pretty.
And that's also in the border. So the border is very heavy. And then the middle is just the words. There's no other motifs. So all the motifs are in the border. The middle is just the words. So once the border's done, the words should go pretty fast. But because the lyrics are, I heard the bells on Christmas Day, I wanted to, but I could not stitch this yesterday very much. Like this couldn't be what I took to my parents while my kids are playing and everything. Like that was not going to work. So I did make sure last night after everyone was in bed, I pulled this out at 11 and I stitched for what I wanted to be an hour. But I got called into a few different children's situations, so I only got in about 68 stitches. I only added these little specks of green and this one flower, but it counts.
It counts. Look at that Christmas stitching.
And this is gonna get
it's authentic Christmas stitching.
This is gonna get 1,300 stitches when it's called on WIPGO. All my other WIPGO calls are gonna get called 3 times. This is gonna get called once, and then I also.
It's because you don't want to finish it.
I have no, like, I'm not in a hurry to finish it. I've like, it's an experience piece too. Like by the time it's ready to be put up at Christmas, I want to like have memories that live inside of it, you know, like, so I don't want it to just be like, get it done and up on the wall. And also like I'm stitching with Gloriana Silks on Lakeside Linen. Like it is a treat. And these motifs, these flowers take up exactly the length of one
From
like
what you cut.
floss. So you don't have to change colors in them. So you just sit down and you stitch one of these. It's such a treat. Like this is such lovely stitching.
That's great.
And to even be so lucky as to have already had the basically the called for fabric on hand.
Yeah.
When that's a hard to get fabric that you might have to pre-order or overpay for.
Sorry. It's on silent, but the alarm still goes off.
So even to be so lucky as to have this fabric on hand, it's such a delight. And then now, in it are all this memories. Well, unfortunately this December of getting COVID and getting the flu and getting a cold and my kids all having the stomach flu and my kids having COVID, but also wonderful Christmas memories. And then last night, at the end of a wonderful Christmas day, so I just wanted to have a few more years of that. So I'm not in any rush whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is I'll have enough other Christmas finishes that I'll have stitching up around the house.
Yeah.
And also when this one gets done, it's going to be an expensive frame job because I'm not framing this myself. This is going to be so even if I were to get it done at a Christmas, I don't know if it'll need a custom frame, but I definitely want it to be professionally framed. So even if it were to get done, unless it gets done enough ahead of time, and it has 14,000 stitches left, and I'm only going to get 1,300 on it on WIP Go. So there's basically no way I'm putting enough time into it that it could be finished for next year.
Mm.
But if I really want it finished the year after, I could just put it on my WIP Go board a bunch or just keep going.
Yeah.
And it was going to do it as December. I was going to do it as 25th Christmas stitching. But then I have this other project that I decided is that I want up next year. So it's not going to be that.
Okay.
And it lives in this Carrie Sews For You Noel bag that had a cute little candy cane charm on it that my daughter just went, whoop. All right. Now, this is also on my WIP board 3 times. This is my back to school style. It's also based on my photography. So this is called the Turkish Shop. It's based on this photograph that I took in Istanbul. That is my personal, one of my favorite photographs that I've ever taken. When I start selling patterns, I don't know if this pattern will really sell that much because it's one of those pictures that I love, but I don't know how much other people are it doesn't scream Istanbul or something, but
yeah.
To me, when it's done and up in my house, I will just cherish it forever.
Yeah.
But it is full coverage. So I was doing this as 2 strands a day. Sarah Stitchy Spot inspiration of doing 2 strands a day, and that was going super well. I just stopped in December to get Christmas stitching in, and then that will start up again in January. And then it's also on my WIP Go board for 3 1,300 stitch rotations extra, but that will still only get me to 15%. So it'll be one of those things where at some point I'm gonna have to really make it a focus piece, but not while I'm up here in this black brown. When I get to the chairs, I'll probably be super excited to just go, 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 go. But this corner is kind of dark and the lamp and everything. But
yeah,
it has 1,500 skeins of black brown. It's to get a photograph down to this many colors is actually quite good, but it still has a large floss pack. And then that floss pack doesn't include all of the extra. Just this one color. I have 2 of these Flosstube bags full of just this extra color, but it lives in this Jasmine's Custom Bag cat bag, because if you know the city of Istanbul, you know that they love their shop cats.
Which is fun. I did not know that.
Oh,
but
Turkey.
I absolutely love that bag.
If you go anywhere in the Turkish or Greek world, whether they're still those countries or not, there's a lot of shop cats and a lot of in Cyprus, which is Greek and Turkish heritage, but a separate country.
Mm-hmm.
Complicated. I'm not getting into it, but there's a lot of cats. I turned the corner one time. I turned the corner, and I just ran into maybe 30 cats eating a pizza box, and it was just the cats there are in charge. So it's it's not you're not oh, why are there a bunch of stray cats eating pizza? You're oh, somebody brought a whole pizza to this gang of street cats because they know that's what the street cats deserve.
Oh my.
And Europe, I think Turkey included, because Turkey, the part of Istanbul is on the European side of Turkey, because Turkey straddles 2 continents. Mm. But the continent of Europe, I think, has eradicated rabies, or if it hasn't, it is close to it. So you don't really fear street animals that much. I have heard horror stories of the Bulgarian dogs used to be very violent, but now they're pretty sweet and docile. Mm. Bulgaria is more stray dogs and stray cats, but Greece and Turkey. Stray cat city. If you like cats, go to Istanbul.
Interesting.
All right. What's your next whip?
Okay. I'm gonna pull one from the back bag. And it is. This one doesn't have its motif on it yet. I just started it. This is gonna be Satsuma Street, 12 Days of Christmas.
Guys.
I know. It's a mess. Why are you looking at the inside of the
I
bag?
haven't looked at a single one until now. I just
And that would be that one. The rest of them are kitted perfectly. I ran out of
It's okay. I just finally organized my Prairie Schooler Santa yesterday. Remember I showed you how crazy that was? I didn't organize it last night.
You picked the one bag that's not organized.
Do you want me to cut that?
Wow. No, absolutely not.
Like,
no shame.
No
shame. That's what happens.
Well, that's why we have bags too, because it's the last resort.
Exactly.
So this is Satsuma Street, 12 Days of Christmas.
And I am not doing them as one piece. On the back, you can see they have it modeled as one piece that has the words that are sweet. It's a sweet little.
Oh.
But I'm doing them individually as ornaments.
Because you have a lot of other.
Because I want an entire Christmas tree that is all 12 Days of
really
Christmas.
cute.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it happen. So this is 6 Kieseling.
Which is where my son decided the song ends.
Then that's it.
No more, mommy, no more song.
No more.
There's no more song. Always so cute.
So I've 1 down and 11 to go.
So which one are you doing next?
I have been picking just
Random.
Jared picked number 6. So I'm probably gonna do the 2 turtle doves.
Are you gonna start it today?
No. I want to finish Yule Goddess so bad.
Oh yeah.
But today is just for anniversary stitching and Yule Goddess.
Well, that's what I was wondering because it's 2 turtle doves on the anniversary.
He and I have our own stitch. So we're good. So
the colors of that are amazing.
Aren't they beautiful? Oh my god.
That's why I opened the bag was to look at the colors. I didn't expect to see.
Okay.
Because I've never looked inside one of your bags before. Because I have everything on rings mostly, but some of my bags are not.
Mine are all on rings. I'll show you now that you've called me out. They all look like this.
Yeah, that's what I thought they looked like.
Yeah, I'm out of rings. So.
Oh, I have like about a box of 20 I can bring you.
I would love some.
So
this is just Ada. This is I think this is 16 count ivory Ada. And I'm gonna do them all on the same fabric. That's why I've just left him. I'm just gonna make sure, or her. It's a her. I'm gonna.
Because she's a laying.
Because she's a laying.
She's a laying.
She's a laying. I'm just gonna leave a little bit of space in between each one and use as many spaces as I can.
Right.
Yay. Your turn.
Okay, so this is another one of my November starts. This is Lady Mirabilia by Mirabilia, obviously. And this is what she looks like. And it's another pattern Allison picked up for me at Cecilia Staplers.
That you picked out, I would not.
I picked out. I went on there. She was like, "I'm going. What do you want?" And I went on their website. I went on the website and picked out things I wanted. So she's on 28 count. Bestitch Me Luna Moth, which I bought another thing of too because it's such a pretty green. It's such a good neutral green. Josie's. Your dogs are not happy, but that's okay. We're making pretty good progress. So
okay.
Won't be that much longer. And I did one night in November, and then I picked it up again for a birthday sal. For Sarah Memphis E was doing a fancy birthday sal, and so I picked her back up, and because she's my fancy lady. But really, Fairy Flora and Moonglow are my 2 like focus Nora Corbett's right now.
Mm-hmm.
But she is going to get 3 turns on WIP Go this year. So she's not going to be able to be a focus until one of those is done. But she will get extra stitching this year. And I will occasionally randomly pick her up too. And her water lilies in here are just so pretty.
Is she someone you're going to try and finish this year?
No.
Oh.
Moonglow will get finished.
Okay.
Other Nora Corbett finishes, decade to be determined.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm starting a lot, and I'm starting 4 more next year, and I like bouncing around on them. And Fairy Flora is like the first one that's going to get finished, and she's not going to get finished next year. So It'll just really depend because they're like 60,000 stitches.
Are they that many?
Well, it's hard for me to know their exact stitch count because they don't really work. The scans I made don't work great in markup. But if you take into account all the extra beading and back stitching and blending, those might be overestimates on stitch count, but probably not overestimates on time. Like if I think of, so like, you know, so it's just not, it's like, you know, other than Fairy Flora, these other Mirabilis that I'll be working on are going to get small, fun bouts of progress here and there. And then at some point it will be their turn. But I'll be so happy she has 10,000 stitches and not 0 when it is her turn.
Right,
you know?
right.
Because it's also
this fabric color.
It's I bought it and then I bought another one the next time I ordered from her because she had some in her ready to ship, and it's just such a pretty neutrally green, and it's a mint green, but it's not like a cool mint, it's a warm mint.
Wally is not happy.
Yeah, no, we don't have that many projects left. She'll be okay.
Molly.
She'll be okay. And we're not actually even recording longer than we have in the past at other times. She just isn't happy. And she lives in my bird bag by the Fox's Cottage, which I've talked about before. She has a Ko-fi shop. It's listed in the description, but she hasn't posted any new bags. But I do think she has some of her last round of bags up for sale still in her Ko-fi shop. And if she does, she might not make any more bags, or we don't know if she'll be making more bags in the future. We hope she does.
Yeah.
And so if you do like her bags, go snap one up because they are great. Especially the one, they don't all have handles, but the one with the handles are just great.
Yeah.
All right, so this is my first foray into 40 counts. This is Pretty Pumpkins by Alforst Embroidery. This is another free Alforst embroidery pattern. So you can get the pattern for free on their website. I am using the variegated floss. Now, this fabric is very close to the called for, so this is just how these colors that kind of blend in are supposed to look on it. Because the called for is an orange, and they blend in just as much as they do to this orangey brown.
Yeah.
This fabric is 40 count woodland by Forbidden Fiber Co. that I got in a grab bag that I really like. And yeah, I really love it. It is, I did decide to put it away because I have a lot of Alforest going. You'll see another one, and I have more starts for next year planned.
Waiting
for her to... We stopped talking to see if the dog will stop barking, but then she doesn't. She's just having a day. It's okay.
Poor Lolly.
We're almost done. So I'm gonna put it away until autumn, just because it's very autumnal, and it lives in this Kathy's Posies. Kathy's Posies pumpkin bag, and I'm using oval princess hoop on it. I really like the oval princess hoops. My favorite hoops are my oval princesses, and then my big oval circle princesses. All right. So those are my two. What's your next one?
My next one is...
Oh, that one's pretty.
This one. Isn't that sweet? This is Red Christmas. Here's the pattern. Here we go.
By Jardin Prive.
Jardin Prive. And I am not, it's called Red Christmas, and it's done in like 2 reds, and I'm doing it in all different colors.
It's so pretty.
So I'm using the same colors that I from a different...
oh, it's really pretty.
Isn't it? Gorgeous. I love all the different motifs.
I love that I get to look at all your stuff and not stitch it, but feel like I am stitching it. And then I stitch different things, so we get to like have triple the project.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really pretty.
This is my travel stitch. It's just 14 count.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It's going to be huge.
I would not have guessed that this ornament would be that big. Mm-hmm. This is huge.
It's going to be real big. In fact, I'm not entirely sure it fits. Don't look at that. Don't look at me like that. I figured out it probably won't fit a long time ago, and I'm going to go with it.
Well, it's okay because not like...
it's so crazy. I'm just going to fit stuff in.
Just eliminate the outer border.
Absolutely.
And keep going until you run out of room.
I'm just going to do whichever motifs and stick them wherever I want.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't think...
Well, then maybe in 10 years I'll stitch this.
I was going to say, because if I stitched the full thing in 14 count, it would be massive.
It would be 5. It would be 6 by 9.5.
Yeah, massive.
Is that massive?
I think so.
I don't think so. I mean, it's not this piece of data, but it's. I don't think it'd be huge.
This for me is huge. I like putting something on my wall that is this large. For me is a big piece.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the portions that I like and cut out ones.
Is this in your border?
Huh? No, that's candy cane.
You'll stitch over it. It'll wash out. It'll wash out.
Sucking on the candy cane. And it's a real Christmas stitch, Stephanie.
No, I was just.
It's candy cane, okay?
Okay, because I wear dark lipstick. When I do these, I really worry about getting lipstick on them.
Oh, it's not lipstick. I worry about getting sugar on mine. Anyway.
Well, we've
You've been terrible today. You're pointing out all of my flaws. I don't like this.
I'm trying to be just like supportive. I just get curious about things.
Anyway.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun.
This is not the kind of piece where you need to do the whole thing in any particular anything. So it's a great piece to go freestyle on.
Yeah, it's totally this is what I pick up. It's my car stitch, so I just throw this in the bag and
you could even just do this like inner square and like then move on and then do other parts of it as other things.
I could.
Because that would still be pretty big.
I want to stitch the Merry Christmas, but I'm gonna move it around.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
There you go.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Stephanie.
It's beautiful. And it's imbibed with your memories of Christmas candy, so it will be even more special.
I was stitching it at work, and we were having peppermints, and
it will be even more special.
Whatever.
I got Taco Bell on me this morning, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right. We're down to my, well, I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 left, and you have, no, that's not right. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 left. You have 2 left.
And I have 2.
All right. So this next one is one of the loves of my life: coffee and eggs. I'm gonna save eggs till the end, but she is gonna get finished next year, so you will see those eggs pop up next year. She's by the Artsy Housewife. I stitched her, try to give her 200 stitches every Wednesday, but I had to stop for a while I was having eye issues until my new glasses came in, and now I have my old lady progressives and can see her, and everything's good again. So she'll be getting 200 stitches in again. The called for is 36 count baked clay. This is 28 count baked clay because I didn't have that in stock when I bought it, but it actually ended up being good because this was the first thing I ever started on linen. So isn't that crazy? But like I've finished other things on linen and I have so many other linen pieces going, and this is the very first one, but then I had to stop because I couldn't see it because it was so dark, and
yeah,
I was having aging eye issues where my eyes were getting my nearsighted. I was becoming more farsighted and less nearsighted. So that's her floss pack. She has a couple DMCs. But she has some weeks that I works. I'm not going to be stitching in weeks going forward other than the weeks that I already have purchased. So I will use those up, but then I will stop. And she lives in this Carrie Sews For You. I think somebody told me it was Paper Rifle Company fabric.
Yeah, someone did say that. Someone else has a comment.
And I got this is another one where Carrie sent the Notions bag, which is just so cute and sweet.
Oh, fox.
I know. And I love Artsy Housewife, and in my planning videos, I'm planning a lot of Artsy Housewife starts next year because I bought like a bunch of her patterns. But this will be my first Artsy Housewife finished because this is I'll start those other ones, but this will stay my Artsy Housewife focus until she's done, and then another one of those will become the focus.
Oh, that's great.
And I don't think, I know I'm at least 10% done. I'm not quite sure what my percentage on her is now. And she'll get 3 rotations next year. And she was already called. She was already called for a WIPCO in January, so she's gonna get.
Oh, really? So this
she's about to be.
Oh, nice.
Get some extra love.
Oh, nice.
And I'm saving those eggs to the very end just because they're white.
Let me let her out.
Yeah.
One more dog break.
All right, so she has 8,500 stitches left. She's 16% done. So that means that, you know, naturally at some point next year she'll get finished. And if her WIPCO, if she's called for WIPCO after she's finished, then I will just pick up whatever my next artsy housewife focus piece is to sub in for that spot. But yeah, between 3,900 WIPCO potential stitches and 200 a week, she's definitely getting done.
What do you stitch on her? Do you have a theme day?
Wednesdays.
Artsy
Housewife Wednesday.
Like it. That's one of my favorite pieces you have going.
I love her so much that I'm not in a hurry to finish her, but I don't want to stitch her forever because I like other artsy housewife pieces too that I want to finish.
Well, and it would be really great to have that one on your wall.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have all of them finished, I think you should finish
that
her.
one's going to go in the kitchen too.
Yeah.
So
you should definitely finish her.
All right. So this is the final, it was the second piece I started during November. It was my first memorabilia that I started, but it is my last one to show you guys today. This is Fairy Flora. And I'm stitching, you can see I'm kind of down in her skirt. I'm stitching her in, I started her because this pattern got retired. So every once in a while, Memorabilia will retire patterns. And a great way to know if a pattern is retired is to be in the Mira Facebook group, because they do try to tell people that as soon as they find out, they try to mention it so that you can go like, get it before it goes, because now like I got this pattern for $15 the day it was retired. Now it's like $50 on eBay.
Oh my,
which is crazy. So me and Rachel from Licking Floss decided to start as a stitch along together in November. It's the Fairy Flora retirement style, which you can see here. And then Sarah from Memphis, Sarah E, joined us. She was already stitching it, but she decided to focus on it a little bit for the Sal. And then this is actually the only piece I picked up since our last Flosstube that wasn't Christmas, because I really, really like stitching her. Yeah. I added some of this over here. She's on 28 count Earth by Fiber on a Whim. And the pink on the brown is just a really, like, if you're sick of looking at green and red for a little while and you just come to pink and brown for a little while and then go back, it's like a great.
It's beautiful.
And she also got called for January. So yeah, it was 9 and 22 were the called numbers. Let me just double check. But she's going to get 3 goes next year for, 9 was Fairy Flora and 22 was Coffee and Egg. So she's also going to get an extra 1,300 stitches in January. Nice. I mean, but like, you know, whether she's 60,000 stitches or she's 40,000 stitches and a lot of beads, like I don't know exactly, but I'm estimating it will take me as long as stitching 60,000 stitches by the time I get to the beads and everything. She only has one Krynic, which is a blending filament that goes in her wings to make her wings look like fairy-esque, but she has a lot of beads, and especially in this wand. She's cute. Like her wand is like all beads. And then right now I'm stitching in this section of her dress, which has a lot of beads too. So I think she's beautiful. Yeah. She's super fun to stitch. How long it will take me to get her done? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's fun for me to stitch her, so I don't really care. Yeah. I don't have really any projects where I really want to have them up. The only time I have one actually that I really want done, but that's because it's for my kids. But other than that, like I want to finish the seasonal pieces in the season I'm working on them so that they're ready for the next season. But even then, it's kind of like, I'm just such a process stitcher. It's fun. I'm only working on things that are fun that I like. It doesn't really matter. Once they're done, they're like done.
I like that they're done though. I want them on my wall. I want all those ornaments on my tree.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I want some of the seasonal decorations up. Yeah. But whether like a picture like this is on my wall or in my bag for me to stitch on, it's like in my hand to stitch on is a little bit more fun. So that's no real loss to me. And I like her so much. She gets my favorite hoop, which is my big boy Duchess or Princess that is like 12 by 6. And her floss pack is substantial. But she is an older Memorabilia, which does not have a lot of Krynics or anything. She just has the one Krynic blending filament. And she lives in my Jasmine Custom bag, Ouija board bag, which is not very on theme, but it's she needs a bag of that size, and that's the one that was available. I bought a fairy bag from the 805 Stitcher that's so cute. I showed in the last one, but that floss pack just won't fit. so I'll use it for other projects. It will get used, but Fairy Flora can't move into her, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
Okay.
You have 2 left?
I have 2 more.
Okay, so this
and
is your...
I only have one of the fabrics.
This is your... That, I have a situation like that we'll get to.
Okay. So this was my Mill Hill. This is old-fashioned Christmas tree.
It's so
And I
beautiful.
do have the pattern. Because it's a Mill Hill kit, it came with perforated paper, and it was a full coverage, and it's so tiny and cute. And I hate perforated paper.
And
I'm
people
sensing a theme here.
Some of the comments were really sweet. Like, you could do this, you could do this. I'm like, Allison won't do any of that. It's dead to her. It's dead to her.
Nope. I had to frog it, and I ruined it, and it was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What is the point?
And I think it looks amazing on that Ada.
I do too. So I just turned it into not full coverage. I'm just not doing the background. So I might still do some of the bottom so that it looks like there's a rug that the clothes are on, or not a rug, a tree skirt. And there's a lot of back stitching and French knots and stuff I need to learn how to do, like bead. So this will not be done this year, even though it's so tiny. It will not.
And it looks like it's almost done, but it's not.
It's not almost done. It has got so many beads, and I don't know how to bead. And I've watched the videos, and it still intimidates me. So that's gonna get done later when I have more brain power. I'm so obsessed with finishing
so good, though.
The other one that I don't want to. Yeah, it looks great on this fabric.
Also, another year of stitching all this other stuff, you might be like, I find like, okay, with coffee and eggs, when I started it, it was like intimidating. When I got back to it, because I could see it again, it was no longer intimidating at all because I had done those same skills on other pieces.
Yeah.
So you might be like, oh, well, you might end up doing some of those other things on other pieces in like small amounts that when you get to it all together again, it will bother you.
Oh, well, there is beading in my Cinderella piece that I'm starting on the 1st.
So you might be more excited about, although you have to finish that whole piece before you're going to get to the
how
beading.
Well, it's not a very big piece, I don't think. I say that and watch it's huge.
I think the Brooks Books Cinderella picture.
Yeah.
I think
is it very big?
I haven't looked at the dimensions, but
I haven't. I bought fabric for a long time
ago. In my head, it's this
remember.
big, like wide of a dress, but I don't know.
To find out.
Yeah, but by next year, I'll have done beading. You'll have done beading.
This might be a good Christmas in July.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Thing. Yeah.
I might pull out. I thought. When I did the bell sampler on my WIP Go, I thought 13 always got pulled in July. And so I thought, I'll do it in July. But I was wrong. 13 gets pulled. If 13 gets pulled, then 2 more things get pulled. Like, whatever month 13 is pulled, it always has 3. Ones, but it's not always the same month. And I don't know why I got that mixed up. But I was excited about doing it in July. So I thought, well, maybe I'll pull out that or something else in July.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to be doing a Christmas project all year, a little bit at a time. So I'll be doing a little bit of Christmas in July. But I might do something extra.
Yeah. Well, I am going to be doing other Christmas stuff all year. But since this is so specialized, like this is a lot of work that I have left. This is a lot.
It looks amazing, though.
Things I don't know how to do is pretty much all that's left. Almost. There's a little bit more stitching and then everything I don't know how to do. So
it looks great.
Yeah, it'll be a project for sure.
Okay. All right, so all of my other things that are left are things Allison didn't iron because they couldn't be ironed, so I'll be pulling them out one at a time. So this is the last piece we're showing today of my photos. Let me tighten it up a little bit. This is a small called Grand Teton National Park 2. It really should have been done by now. I should have finished this in October, but I just got so into seasonal stitching that I just wasn't wanting to go back to full coverage. So I'm really excited to pull this out and just get it done in January. They're like, this should be a January finish. I will be doing 2 strands a day on this every day until it's done because it just needs to be done. But you can see the original photograph here. And I absolutely love taking photography at national parks. My husband and I did a huge national parks road trip. I even have an article on one of my websites about how we used our annual parks pass so much we saved like $400 on entry fees. I mean, we spend a lot more money to visit the parks, but it did.
That's something.
Waved out, yeah. It's like because we've done big trips in like the Dakotas, and we've done every park in Utah. We've done Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Park and Glacier and like all the Colorado parks, and Grand Canyon, not enough Grand Canyon, but some Grand Canyon. Like, we just love going to national parks, and they photograph so well. And if you can get the landscape right, they make really good patterns, because you can kind of get a landscape down to fewer colors because there's not like extraneous
I know
random things in them.
People are hard.
Yeah, people are the worst. People are the worst.
People are the worst.
But this one should get done. It's crazy that it's not done. It stays in this pretty southern camping bag because it's very on theme. And the only thing I don't like about having it in this bag, which I love the bag, is the floss pack for this one is quite large because this photo, even though the pattern's really small, has a lot of details in it of colors to get the like trees and the mountain just right. So the floss pack's a little bit big for this bag. It probably is stretching it out a little bit. When I'm done with it, I might not put another thing that's so big in it because I don't want it to like get worn out. Because the back will last a really long time, but if the front looks all beat up, it's not quite as fun. Yeah. But that's my own fault. The bags she makes are really good. Yeah. And most of my Pretty Southern bags are Christmas bags. So we'll not be getting, like, Christmas patterns don't usually have as big a floss packs because you've got, like, your greens and your reds. All right. And then, you guys haven't seen this one in a while, though. I've put in work into it since the last time you guys saw it because, and I'll show you why. Because putting work into it is quite difficult. Where is the one that I'm stitching? Okay, here we go. No, because it's complicated. Okay, so this is a like kit, a stamped cross stitch kit that I got on Amazon for my son that has 5 different sea creatures because he really wanted to stitch a shark. Well, now he really wants to stitch a jellyfish and no longer wants to stitch a shark. Look how much we have left.
Oh,
doesn't
so
want
close.
So I only pull this out when he really wants to stitch. And sometimes when he says he wants to stitch, I know he just wants to do like 2 stitches and be done. So I just let him pull whatever I'm working on and don't get this out. But when he wants to stitch enough that it's worth getting it out, then we will spend 30 minutes getting 10 stitches in. So even though this has like 200 stitches left, all we have left is the blue down here, the fin up here, and the white body and the eye. That's so but even though that's all we have left, this will take a year. But that's okay because that's the point is to do it with him.
That's fine.
And I will link to the kit below. I don't recommend getting it. It's not really great for like his age of a kid because he's only 3, about to be 4. It comes with these hoops and these keychains. You turn the finished piece into like a keychain. To me, that's a really clunky size of keychain, but whatever. The 8 is really rough, and if you stitch in it and you stitch in it hand, it will soften up. If you stitch in the actual hoops, I think the hoops are really too small, and you have to do it inverted, like, and I don't really like that. So the kit came with the jellyfish, the turtle. He wants to stitch all of these. He just doesn't have a long attention span, you know. The seahorse. No, it also came with a clownfish. R.I.P. Because I decided to test to see if I could soak it to make it softer, but I didn't want to soak the one we were doing because I knew there was a chance it would come off. And this was what happened to the jellyfish after like a 20-minute soak. I probably could have just gotten it wet and like dried it off really quick. I think I can actually, or the clownfish. I think I can actually stitch the clownfish based on the picture on the box because it's not like a very difficult design. Yeah. But I'm not really going to stress it because I don't think we'll ever get to number 5 in a way where he's going to care. Yeah. This hoop is not the hoop that came with it. I did find that I could stitch them in a slightly larger hoop and it would be easier to manage than the size that it came with. But it's just like, it is what it is and it's working kind of for us for what we want to do, but it's not like, you know, I wouldn't really recommend getting this.
So young.
It's not.
Would you say it's more like if he was a little bit older?
If he was older, okay, here's the thing. If he was older and you didn't need something stamped and you could follow like
even older he would need stamped.
I still think there's probably nicer stuff out there than this. Yeah. This just like he wanted to stitch a shark, so we needed a stamped shark.
Yeah.
So this is what's out there.
Okay.
If you didn't need to like have such a narrow scope, I think there's nicer stuff out there.
Oh yeah.
Even
For sure.
starting on a stamped needlepoint 10 stitch situation the way that I did when I was a
That's how I
kid
started.
is probably going to give you better pattern choices than
Yeah.
stamped. And this is just, I mean, it was like a $17 kit. So it wasn't like the cheapest thing in the world, but you know, it's fine. I think that's CMC, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm also afraid of washing it after it's done because it could just
I
be
bet it's
numbered the same.
Mm.
Because it is what it is. It is just funny because he'll be like, let's stitch it. And he'll do a couple things. And then I'll try to put 10 stitches in it just so we've made a tiny bit of progress before I put it back. And that's why I have not been bringing it in every time we do it. Because it's like, I'm not going to show you guys 10 stitches at a time.
Sweet.
Okay, that's my 2.
Okay. My last one I don't actually have to show you. It is, I'm doing a Prairie year. This is the whole year, little tiny small.
They're so cute.
I did the turkey for November, and I'm doing the Santa for December. However, I lost the Santa.
You lost the whole kit to begin with.
I did lose. First, I lost the bag, and I found the bag, and now I lost the Santa.
Was the Santa not in the bag?
He was not, because I had lost the bag.
So you started the Santa separate.
No, I started the Santa. I had the bag. I had the fabric. It was all working. I stitched most of the Santa. The bag disappeared. I still had the Santa.
How does the bag disappear with the Santa out of the bag?
Found the bag.
This morning.
This morning I found the bag.
Which is why WIP parades are amazing, because it forced us all to get all of our stuff out and make sure everything was where it was supposed to be. And some of my stuff was not where it was supposed to be. And I found a needle minder that's not where it's supposed to be. So
I did find a needle minder. But I cannot find, and again, I have no idea where it could possibly be. I don't have that much.
Did you finish him?
Nope. Because I was missing the bag with his colors, so I didn't have.
Well,
all he needs is a face.
He's very tiny, so the
All he
bag
needs
is
is a
probably worth
face.
more than the tiny stitching you probably could redo in a day.
Oh, I wouldn't want to redo him.
So, he's just a cute little boy.
He's tiny.
I was watching Vanna Pfeiffer's latest Flosstube, and she was showing like all these amazing ornaments. And she was showing like Prairie Schooler ideas for ornaments and a lot of different ideas for ornaments. Yeah. And I don't think she did this one. She showed like many Mary, but this would be a great for an ornament. And these would be great for seasonal ornaments.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with them when I'm done with them. Because like I finished the turkey, but I don't know what to do. Junk journal.
Idea. You should do something like this. Like do something seasonal, but instead of doing one for every, like instead of having 12 months out at a time, get something that's like, that you change out.
Oh yeah, like you would flip.
Yeah. Because Allison likes minimal things on her wall. She doesn't have a lot of things on the wall, which is hilarious for someone who likes to create so much beautiful art that could theoretically go on a wall. I give a lot of my art away. But seasonal things are like magnet things that you can switch in and out. So you're just changing it all the time and you have a crate of them in your back.
I don't know. Something to think about. If I ever find him, because I'm not redoing it. I'm not going to do it. I will do a different Prairie School Santa.
I think you'll find him.
But he's here somewhere.
I think so. Actually, I have 4 left. I forgot there are 3 in this one bag.
Well, then I'm done. You're done.
You're done. Okay, so I have 4 left. Sorry, guys. We miscounted a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But that's okay because 2 of them are basically the same and 1 is weird. So, okay. So, last time I showed you guys, I started my Victorian tree, which Allison's got the traditional tree. I bought the Victorian tree. We bought them both at the Silver Needle on the same day. The Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma is technically our best cross-stitch LNS, local needle workshop. However, it's still 90 minutes away.
A little far away.
So I started it on the perforated paper. I should have kept the perforated paper, but I angrily threw it away because I was like, I don't like stitching on this. I'm going to do this on linen. But I threw what I had done away. So I have to restart it, but I don't have any stitching to show you guys. But it was in our last Flosstube, so you can go look for it there. So I have to restart it, but it is technically, I consider it a WIP because I consider restarts a WIP. Yeah. I don't have anything to show you other than the materials.
Oh, if you consider restarts a WIP, I have one more.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me do these and then you can do that one. Okay. And this is my Prairie Schooler kit, which now that I'm doing 2 more Prairie Schoolers than just that Santa is why they need to go to a bigger bag. But I'm just going to wait like till the end of this week when I'm done with all my Christmas and I can shuffle all my Christmas stuff. I'll move them to a bigger bag. So this is what my Prairie Schooler Santa was living in, but now I've added, My Mill Hill stuff really has a different bag. I just put them in here for storage.
Yeah.
But I added 2 more Prairie Schoolers last night. So you haven't seen these. Okay. This is all I did yesterday so that I could technically count them as starts.
Ugh.
So I'm going to do stockings for my kids. So this is my son's and this is my daughter's, and I'm doing them on the same piece of fabric so that they match.
Aww.
This is 28 count Oaken, my Pictureless Plus. Now, I was talking last night to Sarah, who is the Redneck Bifocal Stitcher, who has, on her last Flosstube, showed, she called it Stocking Palooza. She showed all these shepherd bush stockings that she had finished, and Jane from Running with Scissors one time made a funny comment about how, like, if a kid is growing up in the house of a stitcher, like, you can't have a stocking that's not stitched. And last night I just got this, like, panic that, like, I knew I wanted to stitch stockings for my kids eventually, but I got this panic that, like, their child is happening now and I don't want them to go another Christmas without it, because we already have a weird situation where their stockings don't match. It's a whole thing, I'll tell you guys sometime. But I already had these stockings set aside to do for them, and then I felt like fate because Redneck Bifocal Stitcher had her stocking palooza, and then Brenda in the Cereal Starter, Laura, showed these from her stash as something that was, like, timeless. She's not working on it, but she was going through her Prairie Schooler stash, and I already had them sitting there. But I had this one issue, which is that these are called for on 7 count. So these look like they're big, but if you do it on a 14 or 28 count or higher, it's actually not big enough for a full stocking. But then, so I was like, well, maybe I don't want to do them because I definitely don't want to do them on 7 count. But then, made by Michelle McGraw, she was showing how her family, they're all going to do stockings with Prairie Schooler Santas, and she was showing the Santas that everybody picked.
I watched that one.
So what I decided is I'm going to still do my original plan, which is to use this as a template. So the reason I have the 2020 is because I'm using the top of this stocking as a top. Instead of doing their names, I'm going to do their initials on the bottom of the way these are. But so I'm using the top of this one, but I'm going to mix and match the motifs. So I'll probably pick, like, this motif or this motif for the other. Like, I'm going to mix and match motifs, and then I'm going to treat them like a band sampler. So I'm going to use this as my inspiration, but these are twice as long. And so I'm going to pull motifs from this, from my entire Prairie School collection of Christmas stuff, which I have tons. And so I'm going to do this, do a band. Then I'm going to do the Santa from the year they're aboard, which I'm ordering. So the 2022 and the 2020 Santa are, like, kind of perfect for their personalities too. Then I'm going to go in and pull motifs from these stockings. And I use the numbers alphabet from this stocking for the years and the initials and stuff. So I'm going to pull motifs. Like, I love this reindeer motif. I love this one motif. So I'm going to pull motifs from here. And I've marked out where the edges of the stitching are. So this is the edge of the stitching. And then this is how far the stitching can come out on the toe to get it finished and do a stocking right. And I'm just going to mix and match, and I'm just going to do them kind of as I go. So, and if I have to pull stuff out, I have to pull stuff out. But if I do 200 stitches a week on both of them, those should be done by next summer. Just because these are, that would be giving them twice as many stitches as these have, which is about. And then that also gives me time to decide, do I want to finish them myself or do I want to find a finisher? And if I want to find a finisher, gives me a few months of cross-stitch budget to put towards that finisher.
Not too much longer, because you have to get them in early if you want them.
So the one in Oklahoma City at Sukasa, you can do them up to October. So if I get these done July or August, I know at least I can go to them. But I would prefer to go to a cross-stitcher finisher, not a needlepoint finisher. I know a lot of them do the same things, but
it's finishing.
So it's slightly different because you're talking about fabric and not canvas, because, like, the needlepoint's done on the canvas. But the prices are, like, the prices I looked up were very similar. So, and if I was thinking to go on to Oklahoma City, I wouldn't have to add in shipping costs.
Yeah.
So it gives me time. If I work on it now and I do it 200 stitches a week, and if this is going to be a super priority, so if one day I can't get to 2 strands a day on something, or one day I don't get to, like whatever, like, this is really important because I want these done for next Christmas. But I was happy that they at least were my Christmas Day start. And I'm gonna join your cross stitch Xmas 365 because this is gonna be a focus all year. So when you told me about it, I didn't think I was going to do it because I didn't think there's anything, I didn't want to add any starts, but now I'm like, this is like an emergency. Because my son's getting to the age where he will remember new things. You know, it's like, I want this to kind of be like in the folklore of their childhood is something that was always around. And next year is kind of the last year for some of that for him because he's so smart. He already knows.
He's very smart. He's a really smart kid.
He already can remember things. And I know some of that will fade, and he'll only have a few permanent memories, but he will start to have a few permanent, like I have a few permanent memories from age 3. He has and then you have, more and more. So, but I'm really excited about it. And I just had this fabric and stash, and because I was already doing a Prairie Schooler, I didn't want to pick anything red because these patterns use a different red than the Santa that I'm doing. But I will probably, the next thing, so I'm going to fill out the bands, and then when the Santa patterns get here, I'll work on both of those, and then those are the most important parts of this. Then I will just start filling in motifs and go through all of my Christmas ones looking for motifs that will be good. And if I have enough space once the Santa's done for a whole nother big picture, I might do like a house or I might do this house and I have another house or whatever. But even though I love these stockings because they're just not big enough, they're more of a jumping off point for organizing and finding motifs and things. But I couldn't do this project without them, so I'm really happy I have them. And so even though this is 2 starts, it's really one project because I got to work on them together too and go down. And then if this works out, then next year I'll buy another piece of oaken and do one for me and my husband that match theirs. But if this doesn't work out, then
you all get new ones.
And for all the Prairie Schoolers, I've been stitching them with this. It's made by the same company that does Princess and Duchess hoops, but this is a little bit later in their run. It gives Manufacturing Co., but this is a spring one, and it is hilarious that 4 projects live in this bag right now. But
it's a very tiny bag.
They won't for too long. And you can give me my Santa now. I only have 1 project left, and it doesn't have much work on you guys, and you guys have seen it and heard about it a lot before, so I won't go into every detail about it. This project lives in this Carrie Sews For You cross-stitch bag. This is Alyonishka's Alphabet by Alforce Embroidery. I only have 1 string on it, 1 strand in it. It's big. It is a Cyrillic alphabet sampler. I've talked about it many times, so if you're not new to the channel, you've heard about it before. I lived in Eastern Europe, and I write, as a travel writer, I write about Eastern Europe and the Balkans a lot. The country that I lived in, Bulgaria, the Cyrillic alphabet was invented in the Bulgarian Empire. I won't get into any more details than that.
Okay.
It's very important, like the Cyrillic alphabet and the saints, Kirill and Methodius. I lived on the street that they are named after them for a long time in Bulgaria, in my first apartment there. And I just love this sampler. I started it on December 16th because that's the anniversary of when we moved away during the pandemic. But I stopped because I realized I needed to make sure that the math worked. And the math does work. The full border counts the 5 motifs and 40 stitches, so a 10. Because there's no border between them that stitch. It's just you leave 10 empty stitches. And I just needed to make sure before I got further. I'm stitching this on 36 count light mocha, which is the called for. I don't know if 36 counts called for, but light mocha is the called for by Zweigart. I'm using the variegated thread pack from Alforix, but these are the only 2 colors I have. This is the only color I've only stitched with the grain, and then I started bobbinating them, but these are the Alforix bobbins.
Oh, interesting.
They're just cardboard because they don't expect you to last forever, but they have their numbering system. So Alforix, you can get their overdyed threads on 3 different brands, but I picked the DMC overdyes, and I've also heard that they're the best quality, but that might be bias of people not knowing the difference. I don't know. But I love it, and I'm excited about it, and I'll be working on it on Fridays.
It's not as long, is it?
Forever. No, it's only slightly longer than it is wide.
Okay.
So it will be almost a square.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm gonna, focus on getting small.
And it's on WIP Go?
Yeah, it'll get 3 rounds on WIP Go. And I'm not going to be in a hurry to get it done. It'll be...
That's good.
I might be banned from the country of Bulgaria. Unclear, but I probably will still be working on this by the time that ban is lifted.
What was the ban before?
Overstaying my visa during the pandemic.
That's not even your fault.
Well, I overstayed it before the pandemic because I was pregnant with a high risk pregnancy, and my husband then my fiance, didn't have legal right to return to Bulgaria, so he could not, we couldn't go. So I could go and come back, but he couldn't. And I wasn't going to, with a high-risk pregnancy, be away from my doctor. And I started a company in Bulgaria because I am a travel writer, and one of my websites is based in Bulgaria. And me and my partner registered our company there. And our original plan was to have, if we could get to the point where we could hire 6 full-time writers, which was totally possible. Then we would be able to get business visas, and that was our original plan. But then she got married to an Italian, so she had the right to stay in the EU as a resident in Bulgaria because of her Italian husband. But my fiance and I were not allowed to get married because neither of us are Bulgarian citizens, and it's a whole thing. So I just ended up being like, I have to stay for the baby, because also once we knew we were having the baby, then we were like, well, and we probably no longer want to stay here.
Yeah, permanently.
Permanently, because we didn't really want to raise, I didn't want to raise a biracial child in Bulgaria, and he had never been to the United States, but he has family in England, so his long-term plan was to get to England, but that was not going to be possible, and so then it was like, okay, well, then let's go to the U.S. But that took a very long time to get all the visa, and then the pandemic, it took even longer. So when we left the country, they tried to not let us leave the country. But then they let us leave the country. It was a very dramatic day. I had to call the embassy. This is all happening at 6 in the morning. But we were allowed to leave. But we have these handwritten Cyrillic papers from them, and we don't know what they say. We had to sign them to be allowed to leave, get on the plane, but we don't know what they say.
Oh, no.
So we think they include a ban. But if it's 5 years or 10 years, it's fine, because we won't go back until, I don't want to go back till Jordan's old enough to,
You should get those translated.
I know. I want to get it framed. This can go right by. They'll both be framed.
You should totally do that.
Meanwhile, one of my favorite things to do, well, it used to be, is to promote tourism to Bulgaria. I don't do it as much anymore. So it's
yeah.
I mean, I definitely, as a business visa, if we hadn't had a kid, I would have ended up with the business visa, but it is what it is. All right. So that's my last whip. Yay!
That wasn't actually as long as I thought it was.
No, and I'm a little bit just flustered. We really did it. Now what did we do? I didn't envision.
Work on them.
Oops. Yeah. So okay. So we will be recording our next Flosstube. Okay. So today's the 26th. Obviously, we didn't release a video on Monday this week because it was Christmas. So I'm going to try to get this up tonight, but it might go up tomorrow. But we are planning on having our next Flosstube go up next Monday. So it might not include that much stitching, but that's okay, because it'll be a lot.
It'll include some New Year's Eve stuff.
Yeah, it'll be all the progress between now and then. So it might not, but that would be fine too, to have a shorter one.
Okay. Because you just watched.
We'll see what happens. Anyway, so if you are new and you like what you saw and you want to see how this chaos unfolds, subscribe. If you're not new, or if you are new or whatever, like the video, it tells other people that you enjoyed this video, so people like you will get then fed the video. That's very helpful. And comment, if you actually made it to this point in the video, comment a red, not a red heart, because that's the most basic. Comment a yellow heart.
A yellow heart, sure.
And that will be our little secret language that you actually made it this far. And that always tickles me. All right, and do you have anything you want to add?
I don't. This was our first WIP parade, because we've only been doing this for about almost 6 months. Well, not Flosstube, but stitching. And I've only been...
We've been stitching together for about 6 months.
For about 6 months, we've been stitching together.
And you've been stitching for 6 years, but most
of it alone. So this is 6 months worth of work.
Yeah.
That some of it is newer. But, so, I don't know where I was going with that. Just, it's a good experience, and it was really fun to do. This is really fun. Our first WIP parade. And
so thank you
guys. If you're thinking about doing a WIP parade, I recommend it.
Yeah, if you have a Flosstube and you're like, I don't want to do a WIP parade, do it. You'll find all kinds of needle minders you never knew you had.
Yeah. Also, tell us about your WIP Parade because I'm watching all of them on Flosstube now.
Yeah,
so
if you
have one,
are a
comment
creator and you
down.
have a Flosstube WIP Parade, leave it in the comments because we'll definitely check it out.
Definitely.
I have a running list for once things settle down and I'm at home again to like watch all the WIP parades.
Send me that list.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching.